Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Grappler Union Podcast. On this episode, we have the great and fabulous Matt Kaplan, who is a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt. Also in studio is Jason Bender, who is co-hosting along with Javier Palomo. Enjoy.
I hate the 6 minutes. It's what happens in that 6 minutes.
You told me using any technique that works, never to limit myself to one style. Keep an open mind.
We're not here to take part. We're here to take over.
In order to become more peaceful, in order for you to become better and strategize your life.
And we are live.
Javi, is that your foot or your hand touching my anus?
I really can't tell sometimes. Could you wiggle around a little bit?
Can you get on the stool first and make it easier?
Wait. I don't have the camera going yet.
Oh, there we go.
All right, that's
Why
a proper
is this
start.
mic so far from
You can move it. It's okay.
Oh,
Yes,
it's movable.
There we go. We have the
movable.
technology.
That's great. You can switch it like gyms.
Yeah. All right, so we have the return of Matt Kaplan today, and we also got Jason Bender in the studio, a guest host extraordinaire.
I'm excited.
Because Anthony Zito is with my sworn enemy.
Yeah. Well, cards on the table here. We did plan this long before Fight to Win was coming back to Chicago. It was a bit of a last minute thing.
Their show or the podcast?
No, their show.
Well, see, you said it, so clearly I'm not the one that's starting problems.
Right.
So haven't even started the bourbon yet. This is nice though, Bullet. It's good. See that movie with Stallone? Was it Bullet in the Head?
No, yeah. I never saw
into the
it.
bar and the guy goes, "Sir, you can't have outside alcohol. Here's $50. Give me a glass. What are you drinking? We don't have Bullet. Oh yeah, we don't have that. Here's a glass.
I was a Stallone fanatic as a young teenager. I was like, he's me. I'm Rocky. I can do this. I can get out of here. I can get out of this small town.
I thought you were going to say you were Italian. I'm like, Bender.
No, not Italian. Yeah, Bender's definitely not Italian.
Not at all.
Interesting combination there.
Yes.
So how things been, Matt? Since last year on the podcast?
We'll start with, can we plug the show first before we just, the train? I haven't drinking alcohol yet, so we don't have to derail the train yet. I'm waiting for Eddie Cummings to text me back. I said, don't worry, I'm going to go on the pod. He goes, oh, tell Javi I said hi. I said he was very happy to hear you're happy. I'm about to do his podcast. I'll make sure to say good things about you. You're my only famous BJJ friend left. And little sad faces.
Oh, all sad faces.
Yes, it all comes back to Eddie.
Right.
We can bullshit with that. Can we do the show first, though? That way the people that are listening for actual jiu-jitsu
For actual
news,
content?
Yes.
Are you saying that?
Yes, before we talk about people with no money and skill sets.
In demand skills, wrong outlets, but yeah. So what are you doing back in town here today?
So I'm running a grappling show November 23rd in Brooklyn. Well, it's the border of Brooklyn and Queens. Technically, it's Ridgewood, but if you go to one end of the block, it's Brooklyn. It's weird. It's like
that is weird. Yeah.
It's like literally. There's no it's like on the divider line. It's at this place called Super Chief. Mm-hmm. So we're doing that November 23rd. It's a Saturday. And I said, hey, Javi, can I come out on the podcast and just, plug my shit? And you were like, sure. And then I did, I was able to do a verbal tap, which was fun, but it was over the phone. And I'm listening to it. And I said to Raph afterwards, I said, I feel like I'm one of those guys calling in on the show. And
morning show.
You hear the fucking police car in the background. It's like, I'm like, yeah, and William Tackett. I was like, oh, shit, it's New York City at 11 o'clock. Someone shot someone.
Shocking.
So... yeah, we're doing that, and you were like, "Oh yeah, come out and do the podcast, and then I'll get you to do a seminar." I was like, "Okay, I'll do a seminar." And then there was a Midwest Finishers,
right, which I competed in, and
which you took bronze in, so it was good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So to be clear, there is no real award for any position
After second, so we don't have to talk about it. Right? You didn't get first or second. Leave it at that. That's it.
That's true. I missed out on the belt and the swag bag. So
yeah, what was it, $300 from
Fuji? Yeah. Fuji, good sponsor for them.
Yeah. Fuji sponsors a lot of these shows. I was actually surprised. A lot of the grappling events are sponsored by Fuji. I didn't realize Fuji was
getting after it like that. Yeah,
just being generous.
Respect for Fuji.
I like their gear.
Yeah, I do judo, and they're big in the judo world, and yeah, I like them.
Well, at my gym, I have their mats. I bought the what's his? Oh my god, I forgot his name. The guy I talked to when I call. Fuck.
Is it Travis?
No, it's not
Travis.
It's Travis is answering phones. Tom, and his last name is Japanese. That guy. Oh my god, Tom. I can't think of his last name, but whatever it is. But Tom, when I'd called him, I said, I'm opening the gym, whatever. And then they were easy to work with. He said, well, you're on a basement floor and things like that, and they gave me options. I got their 2-inch mats, the smooth ones, and I got like those little 1/2-inch black ones under it. And it's good. Like it says, I'm literally in a basement in New York City. So there's nothing but concrete under it. And my guys find it amazing. There's a lot of wrestling and stuff, and no one's gotten hurt getting thrown on the floor yet.
Right, that's a good sign.
Yeah. I was afraid. I said because he goes, it doesn't seem like much, but there's a huge difference between 2-inch and 1.5-inch if you're doing throws.
Right.
And then I've realized most gyms I'm at have the 1.5, and that's why sometimes you get a little banged up. So, their mats are good. I've had them now a year and a half, and I've had blood spilled on them and other things, and they're.
But it's got that smooth surface that wipes it off so easy, right?
No, they haven't been staying. Jerry Butler, my Haitian student. I don't know if you know like what Afro Sheen is, but Jerry likes to grease up. Jerry likes to grease up when training.
We saw Coming to America.
Yes, and I remember he wears the do-rag when he trains because he's like, my religion with my hair. I'm like, you're pissing me off.
Let your soul go.
No, that's what it was in the hair. And after training one day, there was like the black spouts on the mat, and I said, that's from his fucking do-rag and the shit he has on the lotion. He goes, how do you know it was me? And one of my other he's Haitian. One of my other students, she goes, Jerry, we know it was one of us Caribbean people. And I know it wasn't me because I wasn't in yesterday, and neither was Dennis. And he goes, it could have been Dan. I said, yes, my skinny Irish student was greasing up his dreads before training with the do-rag on. But even that, like there was like black stains on it.
Right.
One or two came through. Yeah, it came up. I was like, oh, okay, mats are good. They didn't discolor, so.
Right.
Nice.
So Fuji, if you want to sponsor my event,
shout out to Fuji.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, we're doing a show November 23rd.
What's your rule set?
Hybrid, because we have to be different, right?
Nice.
I'm doing a point system similar to ADCC, 2 for takedown, 3 for the back, 2 for mount, 2 for knee on belly, 3 for passing. I'm also giving side control points. So if you pass the guard, obviously you get 3. But like, let's say somebody goes to turtle as you're passing, or you go for a takedown, they go to turtle. If you flip them over to their back, that's still worth 3 points. Reversals are worth 2, not just sweeps. So if you go from bottom to top, it's 2 points. So if you roll somebody over from bottom side control, 2 points. But then if you do it from bottom side because you're coming up inside control, you get 2 for the reversal, then 3 more for side control.
Nice.
I wanted to give as many points as possible for positional changes because it keeps people moving.
Nice.
Otherwise they stall and hold.
Right.
Plus I was talking to one of the guys that works with ADCC that helped them come up with the rules, and he asked why I was giving 3 for side off the reversal. I said, well, hey, let's say I'm losing and I can reverse. I get my 2. If I'm losing by more than 2, the guy on bottom is just going to hold me out and stall, even though he's on bottom because he's winning. I said that'll, it encourages movement. I'm also doing 1 point for submission attempts. I mean, there's nothing you can do when you give points for sub attempts. It is always subjective in some way. I'm going to be reffing. Mike Palladino's going to be reffing, and my brown belt's going to be reffing. And I told them we have to have just a broad, if someone's going for an armbar, like from cross side, and their hands are locked, it's not an armbar attempt. The second their fingertips leave, right, that's an armbar attempt, right? But like just have simple rules. If they're holding their hands tight like that, it's not an armbar attempt. Otherwise, if you start giving points for things like that, where do we draw the line with what is an attempt and isn't?
Right.
So things like on the back, if the arms are around the neck completely, rear naked choke attempt, and little things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kimura grip, once the Kimura passes, the hand on the Kimura passes like the hip line, it's a Kimura attempt. Try to keep it as simple as possible. If you get points for a submission attempt and the other person comes up, they do not get reversal points at all. They don't get reversal points at all. So, either the person gets submission attempt points or the other person gets sweep or reversal points. You can't get both. So that'll be, there's no confusion there.
Right.
If you go for a leg lock, you get leg lock points. If you don't get shit and the person comes up, they get their sweep points, but not. All submissions are legal.
What's time limit?
The 8-man tournament is 10-minute matches. Some of the super fights are 10 minutes. Some of them are going to be 8 minutes. I haven't figured out which are which. The main event is obviously 10 minutes. The co-main is 10 minutes. Maybe 1 or 2 matches on the undercard are going to be 10 minutes. It just depends on the matchup. Like I have 2 matches with heavyweights; those will probably be 8 minutes because
And they will thank you for it.
Yes. Well, one of them said one of them used to play in the NFL. Like Marlon's, I want to say Marlon's in his 40s. He played like in the NFL for a little bit, and he goes, "Bro, we're like 280. 8 minutes is fine." I said, "But it's true." I said, "Because if you haven't thrown each other through a wall, you're probably on the floor."
We're just leaning on each other, collar ties.
Right, hoping
That's
the other guy
classic.
falls over first.
Sorry, heavyweights.
I'm going to be super, 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 super anal with stalling calls. I've told this to everyone. The way the penalties are going to work is if the referee says, "Let's keep working, gentlemen. Let's keep working, ladies." That's just like a general, hey, maybe you were doing something and you're slowing down. Just keep it going. But if the ref says something like, "Top, I need action. Bottom, I need action," that's an official warning because they've singled you out.
Right.
Or top and bottom, I need action from both. Once you've been singled out, that's your first and only warning. After that, the next time, top, penalty, stalling. First penalty will be 1 point to the other person. Second penalty will be 2 points to the other person, 3, and so on. If someone gets a penalty without moving position, so let's say Javi's in top side control and he's hugging the fucking guy down. And then top, penalty, stalling. Couple of seconds go by, Javi doesn't move. He's just not even attempting, he's holding him. Top, this is your second penalty for stalling. If you don't move, I'm going to disqualify you. If you get 2 penalties for being in the same position without moving at all, you get DQ'd for the 3rd time. And I'm not doing a time limit. IBJJF does, I think, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of bullshit in 30 seconds. I'm just going to have it. I'm going to tell the refs, look, if you say stalling and they start moving, fine. If they don't move, 5, 6, 7 seconds that they're not moving, fuck it. Give them the other stalling penalty. Like, I don't want to do it on time. I want to do it as you've warned them they need to move. And if they don't move, then I'm going to penalize them. That's that. Keep it simple.
Well, if they're in such a position that your opponent can't move, you should be a good enough grappler to move on.
Yeah, well, it's usually side control. Like if you're on the
Right.
back, no one's just gonna let you stay on their back. They're digging and moving.
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
hopefully, right. And there's and let's say like there's a crazy scramble that goes 30 seconds. Something happens. There's like a lot of movement, and the guys need a few seconds, or the girls need a few seconds to rest. It's understandable. Like there's some crazy stuff. They need a few seconds to catch their breath. But when someone's stalling and doing nothing, and when someone's like, "Oh, I just did some shit. Hold on, give me a second here." Like it's
Sure.
You know when people are doing nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we've all watched grappling.
Oh, yeah. Once or twice.
Once or twice.
I've seen some nothing there, here and there.
I mean,
I'm guilty of not watching. Do you watch a lot of? I assume you watch a lot of competitions.
Not as much as I'd like to, just because I don't have the time for
Right,
it. But yeah,
yeah,
like
I don't-
big comps.
Right. I don't really watch I like highlights, and I'm like, cool. Let me see the end.
Let me see the awesome part.
Yeah, let me see the awesome part.
finish.
That's it. That's all. I get it, but I don't have 10 minutes. How many matches can you watch? And
I used to watch everything.
Everything?
I was talking to Raf about this on Verbal Tap. He goes, I noticed that like whenever there's a show, you're in the live feed. No, I said I try to watch everything. Me and Eddie Cummings used to have a thing where who was watching more tape, and then when he realized I watched like obscure Japanese MMA and pro wrestling, he's like, "I'd fuck this, man. Too much weird shit." But I try to watch everything, but watching it live is a task because one, you have to be there whenever the live is, but also it's fucking boring.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than bad grappling besides bad pro wrestling. Because bad grappling is just, oh my God, 7 more minutes of fucking nothing.
I sent Kevin DeVries, I think it's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
He's out of Carlson Gracie, Grand Rapids. I
Grand
sent him a
Rapids,
message. I said I watched his live feed of him winning a match, I think last weekend or something. And he sends me a message. He goes, "Are you here?" And I'm like, "No, I don't go to things."
I don't go to things.
That sounds like a lot.
Just difficult and so much effort.
Outside. Woo. It's hard. Like, and when I watch the replays, a lot of the time it's like skip. Oh, look, a sweep. Okay,
There it
back
is.
to
Right.
skip.
Yeah, no, there's some real value being able to fast forward 10 seconds at a time until you see something exciting, and then if you got to rewind a little bit, you go ahead and rewind.
Yeah, and it's all the rule sets. IBJJF rule sets.
Right,
Fight
there's
to Win
no
rule
one.
sets. Grappling Crest rule set. Grappling Industries rule set. EBR. All the rule sets are like that. We were just
We were
people-
talking. Quintet seems to have very aggressive stalling calls. So
Finish the armbar. Stand up. Yeah. Point. All right. Fuck. That guy. But he has a guillotine. All right. I mean, I get it. That's the opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, okay, maybe give him like a hair more time to work.
Right.
A little bit.
yeah, judo and sambo are very are very like, okay, this is boring. We want to see the throws.
Nobody wants to watch this shit. Get up. Try to throw him again. God damn.
Yeah.
They did it. The Olympics had catch wrestling.
I mean,
you didn't know that?
Way
No.
way
No.
back.
They took freestyle out. I think freestyle was
I mean, before there was freestyle.
1910, 19. No. They had the regular Olympics. Google's, Jason.
Okay, I'm
on it.
We're
Google
fact
it now.
checking.
That's about to
He's
grab
gonna be
my phone.
deeply offended right now.
I want to say it was like 1918 and something else. There were 2 Olympics they had where they had catch where you can do like subs and stuff with the pins, and then they took it right the fuck out. They were like,
This is too dangerous.
Back, no one wants. No,
Or no
it was
one wants to see him
Yeah,
rolling around
it was.
there.
It was right
I don't
around when
know.
judo got put in the Olympics too, where they were like,
No,
so,
judo was way later, bro.
In 1908, at the London Games, George N. Mernit and G.S. Dalt. Man, why is it the old days? They all had
guys.
initials, and you have
2
initials.
guys in London, and of course it was
Did
the
they
one
really
in London.
call him G.S.?
But
Did
that's
they really
why
was a G.S.
that could be George Hackins. But that was why they did. That's why they did it in London, because that's where catch. Was it Lancaster and all that?
Lancashire.
Lancashire.
Like the cat. Right? Is 1908 or 1908? What was the other one?
That's it. It just sorry,
I thought there was 2. I thought they did it twice, and it'd
Maybe.
be like,
I'm
it'd be like
I'm
a 4-year
scrolling.
gap. That's why I
I'm
think it was
scrolling
1908, 1912. But anyway, they tried it, and it's just. That's why when they put judo in the Olympics, they were like, let's take out all the ground and get them up quick if they hit there, and because
Right, and it's gotten progressively worse as time's gone on in terms of that.
because nobody wants to watch it, and I get
Yeah.
it. Like
Totally.
Actually, the most recent revision added some more friendliness to Newaza, but yeah, like as a general rule, they want big explosive throws that everyone can understand. Oh, that guy got thrown. That's that's
my mom
how he
went
won.
to 2 of my 3 MMA fights, and she was like, "Oh, it was exciting, his fights and stuff." And she went to 2 or 3 of my grappling super fights. Yeah, she's like,
I have no idea what happened.
And she's like, "It's okay. You did the thing with the leg thing, and we had some alcohol. We went home." And man, no, the first one she went to was the one where Tom the Blast went against Ricardo. Is his name? It went like 78 minutes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So
I remember
Hillary
hearing
from
about this.
Nelson's wife, Hillary was on the card. I was on the card. There's like a bunch of people I knew. I think Dave Porter, a bunch of people I knew, and the matches were relatively quick. What's his name? He's a nice guy, but his match went like 35 minutes. It was 2 portly gentlemen.
Okay.
It was once one finally got a takedown, it was like a lot of breathing. That one like 30 minutes, but the other matches,
Mouth breathing, definitely.
yeah, like my match was like 2 minutes. The other ones were like 5, and they were moving pretty quick. It was no time limit matches though, but they moved pretty quick.
Right.
I was like, oh fuck, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get home, get my medal and money and blah blah blah. And then Tom was going up against this guy, and the other guy just laid on him and did nothing for 78 minutes. Basically had a heart attack. Tom swept him, went to north south. The guy tapped me, like Tom grabbed his head, and I was like 78 minutes for that. And
That's a hard sell.
yeah, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
My mom's like, my mom went to the car. She goes, "Are they gonna give you an award?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "All right, text me when it's in." I was like, I said, "No, who wants to like? I don't want to fuck for 78 minutes. You think I want to watch a man grapple for 78 minutes? Are you kidding me? I don't want porn for 78 minutes. Even if it's a chain, who wants to do anything for 78 minutes?
No. Nap is about the only thing.
Maybe a movie.
Yeah, depends on the movie.
A lot of changes in that movie. But anyway, so stalling will be a thing. We're gonna make sure that it actually improving.
Get some
And
action.
definitely not unlimited time limits here.
So how long? What made you come about to this rule set? Like, did you look around and compare, or did you just
Because I watch a lot of grappling. I was telling, was it Javi? No, I wasn't. It wasn't you. I was talking to Kenny Rivera this morning about. I don't drive, so I take the train everywhere. So when I were to go to Hensler, Brooklyn, even to make 6:30 a.m. class, it's like 2 hours on the train.
Oh Jesus!
Each way. You gotta fucking do something. So you
no
your
kidding.
phone out, right? You're watching. I want to say in the span of 7 years on my phone, I've watched every episode of every series of Star Trek, Stargate. I've seen every Pride, every UFC, every mob movie you could think of. It's just TV.
Okay, how many works in Pride? How many? What do you think? What's the percentage?
A lot.
A lot?
A lot. Yeah. I mean, the big ones, Coleman and Takada.
Sakuraba? Any of them? Or are they?
Sakuraba's fight with Conan was a work, but Conan didn't. Not Conan. Chemo was a work, but Chemo didn't know. They didn't tell him.
Wasn't that the
Sakuraba openly talks about that. He goes, "They told me to let him win. They just didn't tell him." He goes, "So I don't count that fight." I said, "It's fair."
Isn't that the story with Bam Bam Bigelow in an MMA fight? They didn't tell him it was MMA. He thought it was going to be.
No, Bam Bam fought Chemo.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yes, he was wrestling for New Japan, and I want to say that was the same card that Jushin Thunder Liger fought on. Liger has a fight too. I don't remember who Liger fought. It was someone kind of famous.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Okay, not good. Okay.
It was like a minute. He had no business in there. Like Bam
Gotcha.
Bam was like a bouncer in Jersey. Like Bam Bam was a tough guy. He'll fight someone.
Right.
It just sucked. It was Chemo because Chemo kind of knew how to fight. Where Liger didn't know what he was doing. He's a fucking spot guy in pro wrestling.
Right.
He fought someone legit. I can't remember who it is. But no, they told Bam Bam, they're like, they offered him, they're like, you want to do a shoot fight? He's like, no. And then there's an interview, it's on YouTube, one of his interviews, and I think they paid him like $100,000. He goes, yes. He goes, I tried to hit that motherfucker. He hit me. I went down. I said, fuck, I lost, but $100,000. I was like, that's what it is. I met Guy Mesger. Man, I was with Kurbis. I was with Chris Kurbis. So this would have been, Chris was still at Henzo's. So it had to be no later than 2015. It was at one of the IBJJFs. I think it was Nogi Pans, and Guy Mesger came to New York. And I was sitting with Chris and his girlfriend Ellie, and I said, "Bro, that's fucking Guy Mesger." He goes, "Guy Mesger." I said, "The guy that kind of looks like Frank Shamrock and that fought in Pancrase." So he's like, "Oh yeah, he beat like Chuck, right, or whatever." I said, "Yeah, Guy Mesger." Yeah. And we were sitting there, and I just walked over and I shook his hand. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "I was a big fan of your guy, you know." And he's like, "Oh, thank you." And then he just started bullshitting with us for like a while. He was talking to us for like 40 minutes. He was telling me when he fought in Pride, when he fought the second round of the tournament, the heavyweight tournament, he had Sakuraba. Sakuraba beat I forgot who he beat to get in, right? But then he fights Guy, and the rules were 15 minutes, and if it goes the distance, the refs have to pick a winner. And at the end of the 15 minutes, though, the refs were like, "We're going to do an overtime round." And Ken was like, "Wow, they're fucking us. We're not doing this. Get out of the ring, Guy. You can watch it. It's the Grand Prix. Get out of the ring." And Guy goes, "Yeah, he made me get out of the ring." And I walked to the back, and that's why Sakuraba got hoist in the next round. And he goes, Ken's furious backstage, you know, "Oh, we're going to do this and that." You know, we're not going to do shit. The Yakuza will fucking shoot us. Like, what are we really going to do, right? But Ken's making a big deal. He calls one of the Japanese guys over. He's yelling in English. They don't really speak English. And they go, "Oh, no, one round. We're so sorry. We're going to make it up to you on the next card. We'll pay him triple what he was supposed to get paid. And we're going to make it up to you." So, okay. And Ken's like, "Yeah, you better go back to my hotel." He's like, "I go back to my hotel room." And, you know, I get a knock on my door. This guy comes in. He goes, "Again, we want to apologize." And they handed him like briefcases just full of money. He goes, "I just dumped it out on the bed. I called Ken on the phone, and he was with whoever the fuck else." And he goes, "Guys, come to my room. And they come in. "What?" I go, "I know what we're going to do. I know we're going to get them back. What are we going to do?" And I just started throwing the money in the air. "We're going to do nothing."
Damn right.
I asked Henzo about that. Henzo goes, "Bro, they just handed," he goes, "everything was cash. Whatever it said, great. They handed you hundreds of thousands in cash. Rampage got paid like $250 in cash once or something like that.
Jesus
in
Christ.
a briefcase." And then, you know, I don't know how they snuck it on the plane.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how many people do you need in your entourage to make that not seem out of the ordinary?
I want to say
Pre-9/11.
international
Yeah.
flights say $10,000 at most, so you get 25 friends.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
grand.
Split it up. Hey, keep a couple hundred, you know, carry 5 or 6.
I need that 10.
Definitely don't want to have to deal with that.
I'll carry a massive amount of money for some friends for a little bit of that massive amount of money.
Yeah, we're in Japan
Sure.
for a week.
Sure. Absolutely. You ever been to Japan?
No, every time I was supposed to go, there was a tsunami, a hurricane, earthquake.
It is a bunch of islands.
It does happen with some frequency.
I had
yeah.
it all planned out to go to Thailand, and I had the money saved. I was in good enough shape for a 40-year-old dude, and I was
What'd you
all
break?
excited. That's when I tore my ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my girlfriend
put
went
that off.
last month for like 2 weeks, and she trained a bunch with Imanari, and he like popped her ankle off like an ankle lock. So I got to send him some money.
That's where he's at now?
I
He's
have
in
to have a
Thailand
serious conversation with him in Japan.
No, in Japan,
I have to have a serious conversation with him. I was going to send him some money. But yeah, I watch, you know, just lots of tape, and I was trying to figure out what works and doesn't work. And the only way to figure out what works and doesn't work is to just watch every rule set, which is painfully
Oh, man.
painful. And you kind of go, what works and doesn't work. I've competed in every rule set except EBI rules.
Ironically enough, kind of.
I don't regret it.
Right. I would just say you've coached plenty of guys.
I remember when that became a thing. That first finishers came around, and Eddie was like, "You should do it," but there were like 2 or 3 guys from Henzo's doing it, and I was like, I don't want the headaches. Like, then we're gonna do an in-house, so we're just gonna fight about it. And I don't
Right.
care. And I did a super fight, the good fight anyway, which was I got paid as much as I would have got paid winning that whole tournament. So I was like, it's fine. And I was like, the rules, I was like, so wait a minute, if I beat this guy up for 10 minutes, but I don't finish him, I get to his back, I mount him, I throw him, I'm just like, he's just defending the whole time. Now we're going to be even in overtime. So for me, I like no time limit sub only. I've done 5 or 6 of those. Tapper draw is okay if 10 minutes, like, but at the same time, then if the other guy just does nothing, you're like, well, that was a fucking waste. So I always thought if you're going to do sub only, then do sub only, no time limit. Otherwise, it's not sub only. It's sub only with overtime, or it's sub only in this time limit. It's not really sub only, but it's the gimmick. So you say sub only. So that's why that's why I knew I wasn't going to do that, because I didn't want to do judges, because if you're going to do judges, just do points then, because they know
because they need to have a criteria to score it on anyhow.
Yeah, and if there's different judges every match, and what the fuck is he watching? What is he looking for? It's a lot of that. Like, it's not that I dislike having judges. I just think if you have the option, just have a strict criteria.
All right.
I know a lot of rule sets have vague criteria, so the referees have leeway, but what other sports let you, do you think that was a touchdown, Jay?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't deep enough. No, I'm going to do that again. Like, it's just make it rigid. A lot of guys won't do sub only. One of the guys, I have a Marcella black belt in the 8-man. Mike Davila was like, oh, I can get you Athos, because Mike Davila's on the card. Mm-hmm. And Athos hit me up, and he's Brazilian. I could tell English was like a second language, because when we were talking. And I said to Mike, I said, I sent him the link to the rules. I said, can you just explain to him when you see him? Because I don't know if he, it's a lot of words. I don't know if you can, do that. They do that with Dice K. Like, when someone sends Dice a big text, I'll be like, Dice, let me give you the important sentence. Right. Because he's like, it's a lot of reading. I'm like, oh, I got you. But the first thing he asked me, he goes, wait. Because in the rules it says if there's no finish, we're going to go into overtime. When in the overtime in my event, if there's a tie, we'll do like another 2 or 3 minutes. Same rule set. He goes, wait, overtime? Like the EBI? I said, no, I hate that. He goes, oh, good. I will see you 23rd. I was like, right? A lot of guys won't do it with the overtime, and I get that, because like if I throw someone on their head and beat them up, so I understand that, and then it makes it harder to get people on the show. If a lot of people won't do a certain rule set, if they don't want to do it because of the leg locks, fuck them, because we're doing no-gi and you have to have all submissions. And that window's smaller. Most people, even people that don't do leg locks, like Muhammad Ali, does ADCC. Right. And he openly said the last one, Gordon's probably going to break my leg. I don't know what's going on there. But he still did it, like, because it's not as big of a thing. But the overtime is still like, and there's no more EBI. So
right, so there's not some grand.
When EBI first started, I remember the conversation. I was sitting there with Eddie. Eddie's like, I don't like these rules. I said, but they're paying money, right? I think the first one was $1,000. The second one was like $5,000. I said, paying a couple grand, so learn the rules. But now there is no more EBI. Right. And even if you win an EBI qualifier, it's combat jiu-jitsu. It's different. It's not the...
Eddie says it's coming back.
Okay.
Bravo, that is.
Was it Sam Ferguson that said that after 10 minutes, just throw a knife in the middle?
I believe it was.
Yeah. I am a fan of that rule set.
I say we just
Why
chip
did you
away.
Have to mention that before? You mentioned that after the show.
Look, guys, I don't know if you've ever seen Heath Ledger, but tryouts. Just throw the knife in the middle.
Here's what I was just thinking of this the other day. Come on, when are we gonna do a real life running man?
Like, actually kill people with gimmicks?
There are countries you can visit where you can hunt people, Jason. I just
want to watch it. I don't actually want to do it.
You want the low risk version where you can just watch it on TV?
Yeah, just watch it. Yeah, and vote.
Sound like a millennial. I just want to watch what happens.
Totally. No, it sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I'm not doing that.
Just take away like every. If we go back to the grappling rules, just take away more and more rules as you go along, like every 10 minutes. All right, you can start punching to the body after 10 minutes.
You can use this bottle.
I will say that would be an interesting rules format.
I like the gimmicky stuff for gimmicky purposes.
I think tag team matches.
But everyone's like, that's a new thing. I was taught, what's his name? Cat Clark was doing that in Canada. I'm like, but that's not a new thing, because you can watch Genki Sudo and Carl Uno and Takanori Gomi doing that in the early 2000s, because Contenders did that.
Right.
So, and they had cards like that, but they were smart. I don't think the whole card wasn't tag team grappling.
Now, was it like real, like
No,
Like,
it's
where-
grappling, and if you tag your partner, they can. You have to go limp. They
So
come
you
in.
have
It's
to like
grappling, yeah.
crawl over, like you'd have to like, crawl to
and
it.
it worked in Japan because they had these big MMA fighters who were just trying to make extra money between
Sure.
fights. So it's like you can do that as a gimmick, but if the whole card is a gimmick, it's fucking stupid. It's like when you watch pro wrestling. If there's a barbed wire match, that's cool. If every match on the fucking card's a
Right.
barbed wire match, by the time I see the main event, how many times am I gonna watch the guy get cut in the head with a barbed wire? It's like
Right.
it loses
Right,
its.
right.
Like how many times are you gonna dive? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you had two really good leg lockers, okay guys, we're going to start in 50-50, only leg locks are legal. You can get away with bullshit like that. You could. But if every match was like that, you're like, oh, this is fucking stupid.
Are you interested at all? Or in the Lachlan
In
Gordon?
the leg lock only match?
The leg lock only.
Oh, Gordon, I'm not even sure what that would
If
look
you
like.
think Lachlan,
but-
no, he's asking about Lachlan and Gordon.
Yeah, no, I know he is,
Bro,
but-
if you think Lachlan is going to leg lock Gordon,
No chance. Huh?
how much do you want to put on that?
No.
I've never met Lachlan. He seems like a nice guy. I'm
Yeah.
friendly with a couple of his students, but like, bro,
Yeah.
Gordon is 50, 60 pounds heavier than him. Right?
Right.
Roided the fuck out. I'll say it. Roided the fuck out. Like, what's Lachlan going to do when Gordon flexes his bicep or flexes his leg?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's not like Lachlan's
did you watch
going in
Leo
there.
Vieira versus Mark Kerr at ADCC? It would look like that. Where one guy's trying to do something and the other guy's like, easy there, little man.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, when there's a skill gap, obviously weight matters a little bit less. You know, and I think Lachlan definitely showed that at ADCC. You know, he had a skill advantage there.
Right, because none of those guys knew. Right, and
Right.
Kynan's really good. Didn't really know leg locks. Muhammad Ali didn't know leg locks. Guardio's interesting. I thought he'd be able to shut that down because he like when he had his match with Gordon at Nogi Pans or Nogi Worlds, or whichever one it was 4-4. It was a rest decision. Guardio swept Gordon twice. Gordon swept him twice. Something like that. Guardio is very good at maintaining base. I was surprised he was so adamant of jumping on Giles just because two other guys had already been heel hooked, whatever it was. I was
Right.
surprised he was willing to just jump on that. But those guys don't, maybe they know legs, maybe they don't, but not really. But like Gordon understands the leg locking game and he's 50, 60 pounds heavier and it's not, there's no way he's going to, Giles just not going to win. It would be like, do you think, do you like if you did Ryan Hall and Craig Jones, similar thing, two leg lockers, but Craig is 70 pounds heavier than him, right? Depending on how heavy Ryan, like it's
Yeah,
not.
Ryan fights at 145.
Yeah, and Craig dies making 193. So you know what I mean. The guy
Right.
walks around like 210.
Sure.
That makes a difference when the other guy knows what you're doing. Even if the other guy is not as good at that, if he has 70 pounds on you,
Yeah.
right.
Plus, I wasn't like some preposterous odds in terms
Yeah,
of like
it
the
was
amount
like-
of money that was
I
put
Gordon's
up.
like, I'll put up $500,000, you put up 5,000,
Yeah.
little man.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
That's a flex. Like that's a big flex.
That's a big
Gordon.
flex.
Like, my $5,000 for you is a lot of money. $500,000 for me is not. So we'll do this. And you're like, that's a big flex. If somehow he lost though, that's yeah.
yeah.
So check good personal check.
So are you only? Are you just running your own gym, or do you still go train at Henzo's?
No, I haven't been to Henzo since I opened my gym.
Oh yeah. I would probably
I was telling Javi, somebody said to me, maybe if you guys had stayed there, John would have stayed there. And I said, wait a minute. I said, Eddie, the end of 2016, before the debacle with Gio, Eddie wasn't really training at Henzo's. He was training with Mushin, where he was doing strength and conditioning with Tavia. And he was training with me and John in Queens a lot. And he would go to Henzo's maybe once a week because there's a lot going on there with him and Donaher and them, and he kind of wanted to be away from it. And then he lost the DBI. And he didn't go back 2 months. And then he did 2 weeks there for the Samir match at Fight to Win. And then Eddie never went back to John's class. He did a couple of Saturdays. He helped Henzo teach. Calistine stopped going. This was 2017, right? So like January, February. Calistine stopped going after the Kumite, where he lost to Ethan in overtime. January, February 2017, right? And then he beat Ethan in May in overtime. And he hadn't been there in like a month. And then when he beat him, when he leg locked him in the third match, he hadn't been there in like 3-4 months. John hadn't been going to that. February 2017.
Is John getting his
stopped.
calcine? Is he getting his training at your school?
Oh, we don't speak anymore.
Oh, really?
Right, but I stayed. I didn't leave Henzo's till I said Jason doesn't know. He's gonna ask.
Yeah.
I stayed at Henzo's till like my gym opened in 2018 April. Right, whenever Gary Tonit's first fight was, my gym officially opened that day. That's the only reason why I remember that. So it was like April, whatever. I stayed a year and a half longer than Eddie did with them. I stayed a year longer than John. Like, why am I getting blamed for them not going? I said, if there's people you don't want to train with, just go and don't train with the people you don't want to train with. A lot of people dislike me. We don't train. Who gives a shit? Go and do your thing and just fucking ignore everyone. You're a grown adult, but
Right.
somehow it's my fault. It's always my fault. I don't know. Apparently, I ruined John's career. That's what it says on the internet. That's I fired him from my gym 8 months ago, but I've ruined his. This year has been a terrible year for him. It's my fault. I haven't seen him in person outside of a grappling industry's since when I fired March, end of February. No, it was like the first week of March, and I paid him for the whole month anyway. It's my fault, though. It's all.
Yeah,
Clearly.
I wanted to get him fired up. I just didn't realize it was going to be accidental.
I haven't had a sip of alcohol.
Not yet.
I am stoned. Like everyone's eyes. I just like it's just like it's infuriating. It's like Matt ruined his career. What the fuck did I like? Oh, I'm sorry. I when he broke his arm and I had seminars booked and Javi's sitting here. Alex Castro said the same thing. Alex said to Gordon, "No, it was Matt's seminar." And when John got hurt, he said, "Can he come do it with him? He's trying to help him out." It wasn't John's seminar because they were like, "John, stop helping Matt make money and he's using you." I said, "Those were my fucking seminars." I said, "Javi, can I come out to Chicago?" I said, "Oh, can I bring John because he's hurt?" Like they were my shit and I was trying to help the kid, but I'm stealing from him. And I fired in March. The West Coast trials were January, February. I didn't see him at all that whole camp. He did the whole camp at Sarah's with Round them, the whole camp at Sarah's. The East Coast trials were in November. I saw him twice. My friend who wrestled internationally, little Italian guy who's 40, came on a weekend and did 2 wrestling for grappling classes because he's been training grappling 12 years on and off. John went one of those days. He couldn't do the other one. He had something to do. Fine, or whatever. For that camp, I saw him twice. How's that my fault? Everyone's like, Matt told him to sit guard and do leg locks. I said, who said that? Because I've been telling this kid for months, you got to work your wrestling and be ready to go. You got to be able to take all these fucking assholes down because they're going to run away. You're not going to leg lock your way through it. You're just not. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. In 6 minutes, it's not going to happen. So then wrestle the whole time. But when he didn't wrestle, it was my fault somehow. And then I didn't see him at all for the West Coast trial, but it was my fault. I wasn't even supposed to go to the West Coast trial. I said, I'm not going out there to corner you. But Gordon sent him an Instagram message like a week or so before. I sent that to Javi. I said, do you see this shit? Gordon was like, hey, I don't know what John put on Instagram. It was some random thing. It had nothing to do. Hey, buddy, I'm not trying to get in your... I can find it and read it word for word if you want. It's somewhere on my phone. I'm not trying to get in your head. But if you got a problem with me, I can smack the shit out of you and Matt at the West Coast trials. We could fucking figure it out. Again, I'm not trying to mess with you right before the tournament. I would never try to get in your head. I'm like, John, he's trying to get in your head. He's not going to do anything. He's literally not going to do anything. He is not. He's going to do fucking nothing. Please, you got to come out. You got to come. Please. He told me the week before that or 4 days before that, I was like, look, are you doing the West Coast trials? He goes, yes. I said, I haven't seen you. Do you want me to come corner you? He goes, I'm not doing the trials. I said, are you sure? He said, yes, I'm not doing them. I said, okay. Then he said the next day, I'm doing the trials. Please come. I'll get a ticket, John. 3-4 days later, I'm not doing the trials. My back hurts. I'm not doing the trials. Okay, I'm going to cancel the ticket. Once I cancel the ticket, we're done. Okay, and then like 5 days later, you got to come. You told me to cancel the ticket. I'm like, look, I cancel. I don't. Gordon's threatening me. I'm like, he's not going to do anything. You got to come. You got to. Meanwhile, my fucking dad had a heart attack that week. Right.
I didn't know that.
So what happened was my dad was in the hospital, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was. And I canceled the ticket to the thing, so it didn't matter. I wasn't going to Cali. And then we were going to Cali, and then we weren't going to Cali. And that weekend, my dad was supposed to go back to the hospital for a checkup. And when I bought the ticket, I said, Dad, look, don't go to the hospital that weekend. Can you move the checkup date, whatever it is, because I'm going to have to go to California that weekend. He goes, all right, let me call the doctor and tell him to move it. I moved it. And then when I canceled it, I said, look, the fucking thing fell through. If you still want to use the date you have, cool. If you want to go back to the original, okay. Then 4 days later, so I have to go back to California. He goes, I just got off the fucking... I'm like, yes, I understand. But like, to John, it wasn't, wow, Matt's making all these sacrifices. It was me. But I'm the fucking bad guy, right? And then I went all the way fucking out there, and he loses to that fucking what's his name that he lost to at Kasai. No, oh god, no. He lost to that beat Gianni in the first round at ADCC, a wrestler kid.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh my god, Red something on Instagram. Right, that's his name. It's Red Jitsu. Whatever his fuck, Red Jitsu. Right, solid wrestler again. There you go, Jason. Red Jitsu. Right. I can't believe his name eludes me because he's been on a tear. Like he's building a real name for himself. right? What's his name?
Richard Red.
Alan Carr. Richard Allen Carr.
Alan Carr,
Right.
yeah,
Richie
yeah.
Allen Carr. Right.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's it.
And everyone spells and says his name wrong on all these events. But Richard Allen Carr, like I said, John sat guard and all that, and then the guy was disengaging in the first 3 minutes. I'm yelling from the sidelines. They don't give negative points in the no points. When the points start, he'll get negatives for disengaging. Stay focused. John gets upset, gets up, shoves the kid in the face. The kid takes him down to takedown. 2 points. All right, John, we got a sweep. John gets frustrated, gets up, shoves the kid in the face again, taking down more points. He looks at me. He stops kind of rolling. 30 seconds after he gets up, I'm done with this shit. They fucking run away. I said, John, but you knew they were going to do this. I said, not for nothing. If you were just going to fucking be like, fuck this, I could have stayed home, not dropped $1,000 on a plane ticket and hotel, super last minute, move my dad's hospital stay, not once, not twice, but fucking thrice. Like, what the fuck what more could I have done? What more could I have done? And then he made that post online, Matt fired me because I lost at the trials. No, I fired you a month later because you have fucking 3 morning classes that I gave you because you needed a job. And it's supposed to be 8:45 to 9:45. You're showing up at 9:20. And then the same assholes who, when I fired him, went to the other spot where he's teaching, the same 2 guys, were the ones texting me all the time. Hey, bro, John's like a half hour late. This is a problem. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, so I fired him. What else did you want me to do? I'm at work. I've been up since 5 a.m. I'm dealing with fucking high school children and administration I want to stab in the fucking head. And, hey, bro, he's running late. And then at the same time, John's texting me, it's fucking traffic. If someone complains I'm late, I'm fucking quitting. I don't need this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and the nail in that coffin was Darian, Jerry, and Tiffany are going to Philadelphia to compete at a tournament. The Grappling Industries. It's on a Sunday.
Okay.
Psy was that Saturday, the amateur one. I'm there, and I was like, hey, man, you're going tomorrow to Philly, right? Because I'll go with them. Nah, I'm going. Tim had ACL surgery. He's on his crutches. I can go too. Nah, I'm going. It's like, all right, bro. I'm at the gym. I open up. You know, I get there.
Totally went, didn't he?
I want to say the starts at noon. John's not returning phone calls and texts. Tiffany's texting me, bugging out. Darian's like, I knew he wasn't going to show up. It's not a big deal. I'll walk him through it. Dave, who left my gym and went to where John teaches, Dave, the whole day. I can't believe he didn't come, but I missed the fucking. I said, John, that kid's a fucking clown. Just so you know, that he was the biggest one. You got to do something. But I guess everybody needs a friend. And they're texting him, whatever. And like he was like, oh, I can't. I put up a status. It was like, guess you have to do everything yourself. He goes, oh, I can't believe you fucking talk about me. Blah blah blah. I was like, look, bro, don't even worry about it because you're fired. Like I can't have this. I got students telling me they expected you weren't going to go. Tiffany was furious because she was paying John for privates. She was getting privates with him like once a month, twice a month, whatever it was. And he was,
right.
You know, and now.
Felt like that was her coach, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
right. That was way before we were dating. That was like 3 months before we were dating. Yes, I date my students. That was like 3 months before we were dating.
Nice way to just slip that one in there.
It is what it is.
I married a chick who used to take my fitness classes. It's all right. It's okay. 13 years later.
You got the Bender blessing. You're okay.
See, I got the Bender blessing. No, I wasn't like we were friendly. Like she'd come hang out sometimes, but it wasn't like a thing. But that was. I said, look, you know, she was like crying upset. She goes, you know, he told me he was excited to watch me compete. I spent all this money in his privates. And I'm like, well, what do you want me? What do you want me to do? You know, and then like he was all pissed off about it. I'm like,
it is
what the
heartbreaking
fuck?
when you think somebody's down for the cause and they're not, you know.
And like I'm trying to explain this to him. I'm like, you can't because John's problem is he can't say no to anyone ever for anything. Mm-hmm. I need you to. That's why he'll be at Sarah's at 9 a.m. in Long Island, and then Brooklyn at 11:30, and Queens at 4 o'clock, and fucking Staten Island at 6, and in Jersey because he can't say no to anyone. You know, and he was like, "Oh, I overextended. I had something to do." Da da da. But his Instagram story had him out all night partying or whatever it was he was doing, and they all saw it. And I didn't see. I don't watch people's Instagram stories, and they were like fucking pissed and furious. I said, "John, there's nothing I can do. Like, I have to let you go. Like, it's not a personal thing.
Right.
Just like you.
This is not working out.
This is not working out. Like you're fucking with my money, kid. Right? Like what do you want? Like what do you want me to say? Like you're fucking with my money. But like I got just pissed off fucking students, and it was escalating. It's like, what do you want me to do? But apparently I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like what the fuck? Like if it was any other job, right? My friend works in a hospital, and Josh was telling me one of the shifts got in trouble. They gave 600 hours of overtime already this month to people. For one tier, it's like 8-hour shift, and they're like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" Da 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 da. And they're like, "Look, we gave you over to some guy. They gave you the guy apparently has a substance abuse problem. Like he's like a serious crack addict. So like he'll take this overtime and just disappear. And they're like, look, we gave you overtime. You didn't show up. We're taking the overtime back. And the guy's like, fuck you. I'm going to sit here today my entire shift and do nothing. So when my friend goes into work, they're like, look, we need you to do what that guy was supposed to do because he didn't do anything. He goes, yo, my man, if he worked at McDonald's and he didn't do shit all day long, they would fire him. Are you saying McDonald's is better than us? I was like, well,
Apparently.
because he's from the Bronx. I said, ah, there you go. Right? That you would be fired. Like, if I'm late to the high school without calling them traffic, I get fired. Like, I don't. But I don't know, jiu-jitsu is weird. Like, it's just a thing in jiu-jitsu. You can start your class 40 minutes late. You can show up whenever you want. You can do these. It's like fucking.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know. I think it's starting to change a little bit. I think.
No.
You don't think
John
so?
Donaher's class is supposed to start at noon. Starts at like 1:15. Right? And Henzo, once a year, Henzo will come in and be like, all right, look, we got to start. And then it starts on time for like a week. And then it's like 10 minutes late. 20 minutes late. And like, but it's jiu-jitsu culture. Like, it's I guess Brazilian culture. I was told that's how it is in Brazil. Like, things kind of just start when they start and end when they end.
When I went to the original Carlson Gracie in Rio de Janeiro, I show up. I'm already petrified, purple belt, feel like I shouldn't be here at all, and completely out of place. I show up early, get on the mats. They were nice enough, but nobody was really talking to me. So I'm just over in the corner warming up for about a half hour, 45 minutes.
See?
And at one point, they were all over in the corner for about 15 minutes. They're just speaking Portuguese to each other. And, even back then I was full of injuries. So I was just moving around, warming up. Yeah, right? And I'm just warming up. And I will never forget that I thought maybe class was going to start like a half hour late. No, they just yell over, my man, you need to calm down. Because I was warming up. It wasn't, hey man, we'll start in a minute. Hey, how long you in town for? Hey man, you need to quit moving. You're making us nervous. I don't know why I made a Mexican in that voice. Sorry.
If you go to like Japan or like the Asian cultures, 6 o'clock,
right on time, right?
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Like Drysdale talks about that, where it's like that's true for judo and all the other
wrestling practice is on time.
Correct. But if you go to a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu academy in Japan, it's generally just as laid back.
Really?
Interesting. Like it's an imported aspect of Brazilian culture. He feels.
The friends I know that own the gyms are but they're like Japanese. They just do like Nogi judo, MMA. The Brazilian influence hasn't been in.
My wrestling coach Alex Matusov. If I'm like 1 or 2 minutes late, you're late.
Why would you even show up?
Well, how dare you? You better hurry. Get those shoes on.
You know what it is to wrestling is like you do that in school. You do that in high school and college, and practice is over at 6 because the fucking lacrosse team's coming in. So if we're not out on time,
it gives you a different appreciation for the time you have.
Yeah. Well, even the fucking jiu-jitsu tournaments can't be on time. So wrestling's not like that.
Right.
5 o'clock, 5:15, like it's very, But I guess.
You seem to be. Your schedule has to be. You run your classes like a tight ship, huh? Do you start all your classes on time?
Well, I desperately try to, but it's impossible to start your class on time if nobody's actually showed up.
Right.
So, so like I'm there on time for sure, without fail. But like occasionally it's like, oh, it's Thursday. I guess we're starting 10 minutes late today for some reason.
And the same people that come later, like, how come you haven't started? Fuck you. That's why we haven't started.
Like, what am I going to do? A warm up by myself? I'm going to teach myself the technique.
Well, like we come in and 2-3 techniques and we roll, or we'll roll first and I'll observe that. We don't even do a warm up. So why are you coming late? There's nothing to skip.
Right. Yeah.
He's not to skip.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
making you grab your balls and run in a circle and flip. Like we're just fucking.
That's the cool thing about starting a program from complete scratch like I am right now. I decided on a 1 hour class. No matter what it is, I'm just going to make it 60 minutes. That way nobody's late and there's no beat. And there is, like I said, like you just said, my warm up will be a guard retention drill or something like that. That's how the warm up we're going to do.
I go to the bathroom because I have 2 toilets and I use one of them and I take a shit. And when I get out of the bathroom, we're starting. That is your leeway. When you hear that last, we're starting. That's it.
Yes. Well, alrighty.
And we're off.
Oh, by the way, who spray painted Gianni's name on your wall?
It wasn't spray paint. It's off the wall now. When was that? Well, it was right because that's Gordon's thing. They spray paint on the wall. Right. Okay, you're from Jersey. Relax, there, hillbilly. Spray paint on the wall. Good for me. let's see, when did that? Oh, when I fired Johnny, he goes, "Then take my name off your wall." So I went over and I wanted to write redacted. But I knew he didn't know what that meant. He'd think I was like shitting on him. I was like, he's gonna think I'm like making fun of him. So I blocked it out. And then like the next day, Gianni got invited because Grippo saw that and shared it on Instagram. Right. He's like, "Who are these guys?" And I said, "Johnny, that's my gym." I was just fucking with Johnny. He goes, "Oh, I thought you guys were like mad at me or something." I said, "No, I already mad. You didn't do anything. I already been mad at you." But I took is that the white tape? And I made like straight lines, and I taped Gianni's name over it.
Okay,
because the next day, Grippo got invited to ADCC.
Right.
And I was like, I know John's sitting there going, "I beat that fucking guy. He's invited." Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So did you take, like when you started your gym, did you take people over, or how'd you start?
So the other gym was in Queens. It was in Astoria, which is, if you don't know, New York City.
Not at all. I've been
If
there
you're
once.
driving, 40 minutes-ish with traffic, good luck. Train is probably about an hour or so. So it's a good enough distance that it's totally different area. But that other gym closed anyway, so it didn't matter. I want to say when I opened, James, Danny, Dennis, Megan, maybe like 6 of them came. It wasn't like a big thing.
Right.
And a couple of guys I knew that used to train at Henzo's that stopped training, came by. Mendoza and his girlfriend, they kind of bounced around a little bit because they weren't happy. Like, he was at one Henzo affiliate for like 8 years. Mm-hmm. And then he left and he wasn't happy, so he's bounced around places and he wound up with me. And then a couple other people I just knew like throughout the years just started showing up. So I want to say by the end of the first month, I had like 20 students.
Nice.
I have 2 students in 100 square feet of space.
Right, clearly.
What I was told.
Right.
I had like 20 students at the end of my first month, so I was like, okay, this is fine. And then like, a couple of them, like some of them moved and all the other bullshit, new people quit and things like that. But no, I've never, dude, I didn't even have a social media page up for that. Like when I first did it, I think I had an Instagram or Facebook. There's no website. I don't think there's still no website. I wasn't like going heavy. The schedule's not online. You have to message me if you want to know how to get in, the schedule, the combo on the door. Like I just literally put a thing up and said, "Look, we're training. If you want to come train, hit me up and come train." And I didn't want to be bothered with that. I didn't want to hear the, "Hey, bro, why are you messaging my students to?"
Yeah.
Students have left their gyms and come train. Like, they've left where they were and came to me, and their coaches were pissed. But like, one of them, I said, "Bro, those guys are 90 minutes from me. Your students left your gym and they're traveling 90 minutes every day to train with me. That's not a me thing. That's a you problem." Right. Like, if someone stops training with you to travel 2 hours on the train to train with someone else, what does that tell you? Like why are you mad at me? It's not like I opened up next door. I'm literally in a different borough 2 hours away. Like,
people think all the time, though, that people like this person transfers from this school to that school. There wasn't this clear falling out in that person's mind, and they're like, "Oh, the other guy clearly poached him."
Or how about you're a black belt and you teach 2 classes a week, and the other 20 classes are taught by your in-house purple belts who get beat up by the other students who are competing and losing, and they want to win, and they beat up the instructors because you're never there, so they leave.
Right.
But we're not supposed to talk about that, right? Like, we're not supposed to have that conversation. Like, if you own a gym and you're never there, one of the guys was pissed when we were teaching in Queens because it was a mile from his gym. And I said to the guy, I said, "Bro, there's like 10 jiu-jitsu gyms between us." He goes, "Yeah, but," I said, "I'm on a Henzo affiliate over there." I said, "I'm just teaching at this guy's gym. People go." And he was all pissed. But Henzo said to him, Henzo was like, he goes, "Bro, my name is on your wall. You're saying you're my black belt. My name's on your wall, and you're saying the brown belt is better." And I was like, and when he said that, I was like, he needs to stop talking because Henzo's going to punch him in the face. No, because think about what you're saying to Henzo. Like, this, because I was a brown belt, and this brown belt, his value is more than your name and me as a black. Like think about what you're saying. Like, think about what you're saying to this guy. And Henzo said to him, "Maybe you should be at your gym more than 2 classes a week." I didn't even know he had a problem. He went and complained, and then Henzo was like, "Bro, don't even worry about that shit." I was like, I didn't even know there was shit to worry about. Like, no one told me. So many people hate me. I didn't even know about that one. Keep accurate I never
records.
understood that. Like, Henzo has openly said, there's a gym actually, literally around the corner from Henzo's. I can't think of the name of it. Henzo brown belt teaches there like twice a week. He goes, "Good. I'm glad my guy's making money."
Right.
He goes, "If someone opens a I was talking to Henzo about it. He goes, "If someone opens a gym across the street from me, it should not affect my business. Why are my students going there? What am I doing wrong then?"
Right.
I said, but that's the attitude of a businessman.
Right.
If I have the best pizza in town, you can open up pizza across the street. It's not going to affect me. Right? If we have the best strippers in town, if you open up across the street, it's not going to affect me. Unless it's a weird niche market like with midgets or something.
In which case?
In which case, Javi's making money.
Hey.
Oh, wait.
So we're not talking about that subject on the podcast.
Vandals, Rescue Rangers.
Jesus.
Good times.
Gadget-
But yeah, so
Gadget was Gadget the
November
hottest
23rd,
cartoon?
Grappling Idiots. I'm running a show. Very professional.
Grappling Idiots. Where'd you come up with that name?
No kidding, right?
I mean, have you met the people in grappling?
I have. I've grappled several of them.
It's like I was throwing names. I was just throwing shit against the wall to see if it would stick. I was like, we just like 'cause I was telling you, I said I was trying to do the pro wrestling thing, but it didn't work. World Championship Grappling was taken. World Grappling Federation was taken. So I was Grapple Mania, Grapple Fest, everything was taken. So I was like, all right, we'll just do like a completely new thing. And then I was like, Grappling Idiots. I said, because you have to be an idiot if you like the sport, because there's not a lot of money. There's a handful of people make money. 98% of the people in the sport, they're lucky if they're even living paycheck to paycheck. So you have to like it if you're doing it. You're never going to be as famous as the MMA people and all that because it's grappling. And you kind of have to be an idiot to do it long term. There's just, and you know, it's like an oxymoron, but it's just one of those things. That's Grabaka was a big gym in Japan, which literally means grappling idiot in Japanese. Joe Konchinoski, Mishima, and somebody else is from Grabaka. Not Minowa Man. I don't know who it was. There's Mishima. Oh, and I want to say Akihiro Gono.
Okay.
I want to say it was Gono. But yeah, I like the name. I was like, yeah, it's like an oxymoron. It's like it's serious and funny. It's, you know what I mean? So
No, it works.
Yeah, and the little chess pieces in for the eyes. Like,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it looks like the How to for Dummies book. Right? Nice. That's what it is. When I did the rules on the website, I was like, I'm going to explain the rules for people that have never seen grappling. What's a takedown? When someone on their feet goes against another person and they get taken off their feet. That is a take. Like, you know, so everybody knows what's going on. Main event is the rubber match between Keith Krikorian and Daniel Myra. Keith beat Daniel at finishers. The one Keith won.
Okay.
Where he I think it was a 55.
Yeah.
He beat Daniel, I think, in the semifinals. I believe he beat him in overtime. Daniel beat him. I was trying to do Keith and John. Keith wanted the match. John kind of wanted the match, and then that fell to shit. And John said to Keith, "I'll never work with Matt again." I said, "All right." I said, "So Keith, the match isn't going to happen. So the match everybody wants to see isn't going to happen, at least with me running things." So I was trying to find someone. Jeremy Skinner was trying to come in from Australia, but the Grapple Fest changed his date last minute. He has a title now.
Skinner's one of Lachlan's guys, right?
Yeah, Skinner.
Yeah.
Skinner beat Frank Rosenthal at the Grapple Fest.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, I know Skinner for a while. Like, he messaged me years ago, and we put that video up making fun of the bad leg locks, and so I've just been friendly with him. But he's won some stuff in Australia, but he's beaten some guys. And now he's Ty Rotolo, so I was like, yeah, that's good. But Grapple Fest moved its date, so I lost him. He was trying to come in from Australia, so I just kept losing opponents for Keith that I wanted. I was thinking Adam Bennion, because he's at Marcelo's, but Adam had knee surgery. Somebody else I wanted had knee surgery. Somebody else I wanted. It was just like...
Well, Adam's he's one of Marcelo's guys, but
he trains around Hall.
Yeah, he's at Hall's gym.
But and because my friend trains with him a bunch, and he hit him up. He goes, "I'll do the next show. You know, if I'm good." His knee was blown out. Somebody else had knee surgery. Somebody else was a hip broken. It was just like everything. I was like, fuck, how do I not have a 45er for him? And then he went against Daniel Myra at the IBJJF no-gi pans.
Okay.
And he lost on points to him. I said, "Hey, Keith, I have an idea. You and Daniel part 3." He goes, "Yeah, let's do that." And Daniel goes, "No, let's do that." And I said, "Well, it's the points from the IBJJF system, kind of like different numbers,
right,
but similar enough. And it's similar rules to EBI, all subs only. So let's just take the best of both worlds and see what." Because I didn't want to do any rematches. Like Nick Ronan and William Tackett are doing my 170. They had a match recently. They're on opposite sides of the bracket. Like,
right.
I don't want to see rematches unless it's like a razor thin where we have to. But with them, it was a rubber match. They already went 1-1 in different rules. So it's like, let's see what happens with that. And I need somebody for Keith. This works out. We're doing this.
I like Keith a lot.
Yeah, Keith's like the nicest guy. Yeah, he's like the nicest guy. Mike Davila and Nick Gullo from Sarah's. Mike, EBI vet, finishers, all the, Mike's been doing well. John Battle, another kind of big name. Everyone's like, how do you know all these people? I was like, I do jiu-jitsu. How do you not know these people?
Right.
I see them in all tournaments.
Yeah, he's at McHugh's, just got his black belt recently.
Yeah, John just got his black belt. He's going against Chris Kurbis. Chris, I believe he runs the NYPD grappling team now. Like that's like his thing. He just got his brown belt. Chris is tough, man. I used to train with him when he was at Henzo's 2012 to 2015 before he went to Unity, like somebody else I know, who used to also train with me and Chris.
Who could you possibly be referencing?
I know. Who could I be talking about? Oh, look, come in. But anyway, yeah, Eddie. Eddie, it was like me, Calistine, Eddie Cummings, Chris Kurbis. Like we would train a lot. And Chris was a good wrestler. He's tough. He's very athletic for a dude that's like 30, I think he's 36. Like he's very athletic. You'd think he's like 22. He just goes and goes and goes. He won Masters Worlds twice at his weight and once in the absolute at purple belt. All times purple belt.
Impressive.
Yeah, I was talking to Emil Fisher about that. He goes, a guy that's a $150. I said I'm pretty sure he did 54 with the gi 1 year, and he might have done 67 the first year. But Emil goes, no, fuck that. The guy's under 190. He won the absolute in purple belt. I said, yeah. I showed him the picture because him on the podium, and Chris is like half the size of these guys. I said, he took gold at IBJJF Masters Worlds twice in his weight at 54, twice for 54 and 67. And he won the absolute. Like that's hard, man. Because once you get to purple brown belt, winning the absolute when you're like 150 pounds is a thing.
Yeah, it's a real challenge.
Yeah, especially Masters Worlds where everybody's like on TRT and
Hey.
Except you. I feel bad, right? You're so small. So that should be a good match. I honestly think Battle and Kurbis might be match of the night because they're both just going to... I see that match.
That was a gamer. I mean,
that match will either end in like a minute with a quick sub from one of them, or they're gonna like go for 10 minutes. They're just gonna go for 10 minutes. Like I don't
see
that's
an exciting battle. Yeah. I'm gonna want to see that.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a stream for those of us that cannot be in New York City?
Yes. There's no live stream because as I've watched painfully all these wonderful grappling shows, you'll see like even the finishers gets a lot of views. On it gets a lot of views. They get sometimes 20, 30, 40, 50,000 views. Their live streams sometimes are a couple hundred, maybe 1,000 at most. It's not a lot. Not a lot of people watch the bullshit live.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the week, it's like, 50,000 people have. So I said, why do a live stream? A live stream's significantly harder to do. You need different equipment. Mm-hmm. You can't switch the camera angles, right? There's no post production. So if one camera misses it, you can't just go to the other one. It's a lot. You know?
I've seen that with some live streams I've watched.
And
sure.
like Midwest finishers, like they've done the live stream.
Yeah. Omar goes, I'm thinking of doing that. I said, I am doing that. I said, that was the best thing when I ran a pro wrestling company. You get the cameras, you do some quick editing, the commentary goes over it. You can just go to work with it. Where with the live stream, you need like a real team. Like if you ever watch Monday Night Raw, when they do the live stream, they have like 8 cameras. They have a guy in the truck who knows pro wrestling and says, that guy's about to dive, get to that camera.
Right.
You don't have, I don't have somebody standing with the 3 camera guys who's making the switch. Oh, he's going to do a spinning armbar on the right side, switch the camera too. Like you need someone for that. Right. Otherwise,
that's what Eddie Bravo used to do for the UFC back in the day. And that's why the truck position is called the truck because it's
that's where that is. Okay.
Yeah, it's the production truck.
WWE's had that whenever Raw went on the 91, 92.
Yeah.
Like that's, and the NWA was usually taped. I don't think they ever did anything live.
No, I don't think so.
Live. Yeah. The WrestleMania, those pay-per-views, like WrestleMania, the first one, they were probably shitting bricks. Hope we don't miss any spots.
Right.
So it's a waste. No one really watches it live. So I was like, whatever. I was debating one of the cameras just putting like on the Wi-Fi, having this like one of the cameras
like
just
a
having
set
a live
angle
feed.
with a feed.
Yeah, just like if you prepay or something for the stream, you can watch the event live through one of the cameras. There's no commentary or anything like that. It's just if you want to just really see what's going on
results before
you really want to know what's going on right now, you gotta know.
Right.
You know what I mean? The one camera's the best bet anyway because you don't have to deal with cutting to run cameras. But it'll be post production. Working out the price, I think it's going to be like $5.99. It's not going to be a lot of money.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you $3 if you give me the highlights.
I got to make a highlight video. It's an extra $2.
Yeah. Like Shugio?
You want? We can have that conversation because I was excited when they announced Shugio. I said, okay, no time limit matches. It's all in one day, and I think this could be good, but. Just the way they went about it and did everything was just everything wrong with production. You have the matches come out whatever the fucking day is, Monday, Tuesday. You show 2 matches. Mm-hmm. You show. I'm sorry. You show the highlights of the 2. What am I saying? You show the highlights of the 2 matches.
Right. The cut down.
And then a day or 2 later, you put the full matches. Dude, if I just show a highlight and I see how the match ends, and the highlights have all the action, what makes you think I'm going to watch a full 20-minute match?
Right.
You just cut down a 20-minute match into 2 minutes. Why would I want to watch the other 18?
You're only going to get those views from the hardcore that wanted to see
and
every
just
little
scroll
thing.
through, and even then, you've already showed my brain you told my brain this is the important stuff.
Right.
You know, so I don't know why they did it like that, where it was like highlight and then the match. And then what I thought was, I said, oh man, their finals match is going to be the same week as ADCC. Maybe that's why they're releasing it the way they are. Mm-hmm. And that was the week they skipped. I was like, the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was they should have just released all the matches at once and had one video, all the views go to one video, you can market it. It's just easy. And people forget, like, I'm going to remember every Monday there's going to be 2 new jiu-jitsu matches from your tournament. I'm not. And then I'm going to remember who beat whom and what brackets are which. And but you're asking a lot of me.
Do you think that, given your druthers, would you have released the whole thing and then maybe done highlights afterwards to like hype up the next event? Like here's the highlights from the previous.
You always do highlights last. Right. Anyone in any sport will tell you once the people see the highlights,
they ain't gonna stick around for anything else.
No, Monday Night Raw now has highlights, 3-minute highlights of the 2-hour show. The 3-minute highlights online get hundreds of thousands of views. Like, because people are like, I don't need to watch 2 hours of wrestling to show me what happened really quick. People watch highlights of football and basketball games. Show me the highlights. I don't need to watch 2 hours of basketball. Show me the highlights. Where was the cool dunk? What was the score? If you give people that option, they're going to take that option. Always. Yeah. Just show me the knockout. Show me where the guy got rocked.
UFC just happened. I didn't have a chance. I mean, it was an awkward time, with everything going on today. But, didn't have a chance to watch it. Probably not going to go through and watch the whole event. Definitely going to catch all the highlights.
Yes. For sure. Once you give people the highlights, they're not going to watch the match. They're just not. And anyone that tells you otherwise is lying, or is that one outlier that's like, I'm going to watch the...
I mean, okay, so there's certain circumstances where I'll disagree there. If somebody's like, this was a fire match and, then I'm going to be like, okay, that one has to be checked out.
You'll watch that one, but will you watch the other matches?
The whole event? No, probably
of course,
not.
That's what I'm saying, because he wins by armbar, she wins by triangle. Okay, but I'll watch that because it was supposed to.
And then if everything else is like, oh, I'm scouting this guy's technique or,
plus if you release it, if you do it, the reason why Eddie Bravo does the tournament all in one night is it builds up the emotion throughout the event and you can watch people do things. That was the whole purpose of doing the tournament in one night.
Right.
When you have, what was it, 1, 2, 3, so it was like 6 matches on each side and then the final, so it's like 13 matches. When you take 13 matches and spread it out over like 8 weeks, sometimes I was watching, I was like, wait, did he beat the other guy?
Right, you lost.
How did that go? Wait, who's on what side of the bracket? Like, you want me to remember all that and what I'm doing at work and what porn I need to masturbate to and what holidays are coming up and what, you're asking a lot. And like, when it comes to jiu-jitsu tournaments, that comes after like, oh, I can make sure I buy toilet paper. Like, that's on so low on the list of things I need to remember.
Right.
That, and it's a free event. And if you look at the Shugio page, they got some of those views were like 1,000 views. It's a free event. Finishers 50, 60, 70, 80,000. The On It 50, 60, 70, 80,000. Midwest Finishers was like 40,000. All those other free events on YouTube are close between 50 and 100 grand usually.
Right.
Those had between 1 and 5 each.
But cumulatively, it probably would have been bigger. You're saying if it had just been one single
unless
event,
it's the same 1,000 assholes every week watching it, and then you didn't reach an audience. Which is bad. Which is even worse. Like AEW just started. Their first show was 1.4 million people. Now they're at 900,000 4 weeks later. You're like, that's not good.
Right.
A third of your audience tuned out. What are you doing wrong? How do you fix that? If you're not asking those questions, you're not I don't know what you're doing as a business.
Yeah, I haven't checked Shugio's numbers. I mean, but again, I
definitely
definitely watched the highlights.
I was talking to someone who was on that card. We were talking in depth about this. We were having a very long. I won't burn their name. We were having a very long conversation about this, and he goes, I thought more people would watch it. I said, dude, you want people to watch 20 videos, 10 videos, and then the music, and then there's all this extra in the middle, and it's I guess it's kind of cool the first or second time, but I don't need to see the Jordan Holly talk after every match. I don't need to see Keith talk after every match. I don't need to see Rafael, whatever, what's his name? The one that shoved John in the bathroom at EBI.
Oh,
he lost all 3 matches.
Yeah. Shit. We're bad with names tonight. I mean, I'm oftentimes bad with names.
Well, I want 2 hours of sleep. I came out here, you all day. I had to watch jiu-jitsu all day.
You didn't have to. You had a brief break there. You got to ref a little bit too.
I did. I refed. Omar was, because I said to Omar, hey, if you need me to ref something, I said, you don't have to pay me or anything. I'll be there. I'll help out, bro. I understand that the awfulness of running things. And he goes, oh, please, thank you. And one of the guys trains with him sometimes, I think was the issue, so he didn't want to ref.
Right.
I mean, it's EBI rules. How's he going to fuck the other guy? But I get it. Just give
Right.
yourself.
No, eliminate as much.
One of my students, Tim's competing on my show. I'm not going to ref that match, nor is my brown belt student, Chris. I'll have Mike Palladino do it.
Right.
Mike doesn't
Palladino
know Tim.
got guys on the card?
No. I wanted Mike to do my 170. He also injury.
Ah, shit. I
Bro,
didn't
all
know.
these guys are just getting, and he was like training with some like random fucking blue belt and who did some dumb shit, and Mike was trying to protect the other guy and got hurt. I
Shit.
said, Mike, I understand. I've gotten hurt rolling with like spazzy blue belts and white belts, and you're trying not to break their arms and legs, and you get hurt. I get that. Because I want the Palladino on my 170. So, you know, I was trying to get Weiss from Sucker Free. He trains with JT and them, but injury, like I was just, it's a pain in the ass, bro.
It's injury season.
Yeah, but the 170 is good. The 170, I got Athos Miranda from Marcelo's, he's a black belt. Italo, apparently I've been saying his name wrong. Italo Mora from Unity, he's a black belt. Andrew Coachell from SAS team is a black belt. Nick Ronan's a brown belt from Sarah's. He trains with the DDS guys. William Tackett, maybe you've heard of him.
I have.
A little bit, yeah. 80cc silver trials medalist. Kid just turned 18 too. It's fucking crazy.
Disgustingly young.
His
His brother's good too.
Dylan Faldudo's doing it.
Yeah.
I put him in as the eighth
Chicago's
man.
own.
Chicago's own. I was like, hey,
Rocco.
I need an eighth man, bro. I said, you're a pro MMA fighter. You know, you've been wrestling forever, grappling forever. I said, bro, I'll put you in. I like having the different style. He's the MMA guy in it.
Right.
I have this guy, Kyle Lynch. He's doing it. Kyle, he fought a friend of mine in MMA in like 2012 because when Chris was like, hey, I got this guy at the NYPD Grappling Club. We just gave him a blue belt. I said, do you want to get him hurt? He goes, no, he's been training forever. He just wasn't belted. He only does no-gi and he wrestled a lot. I was like, oh, I know him. He fought Pavel. And, you know, some of my brown belt friends that have trained with him at the police academy who are much bigger than him were like, no, that guy can give me the business. I said, all right. I said, I'll put like a wrestlery guy in. I like having a completely different style. Again, different with the jiu-jitsu.
Different looks.
So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how he does with some of the brown and black belts. And then the eighth man is Aaron Harris from Black Hole.
Nice.
Yeah, Aaron's been on a tear too, right? He won the sub-spectrum and some other stuff. He's beaten some black belts lately, you know, IBJJF guys. So it's good. Couple of leg lockers, couple of positionally guys, couple of inverters, couple of wrestlers. Wrestlers. So that should be fun. What are some of the big super fights? Oh, I have the midget match. Javier Palamo and Sam McHale. Winner gets some stilts. That should be good. You know how hard it was to find two people that are like, so do you have somebody else that walks around like 135? I said, I do. Not females. I have some men. I got Cece Mina, Cece from 10th Planet. She's going against Trinity. I mean, Cece, if you know 10th Planet, you know Cece. She's been doing a lot of stuff. Trinity's only like 15, but she's done all these pro events. So I was like, okay. She did the finishers. She did well. She went to the semifinals and lost to she who will not be named. She lost to her in the semis. I think it was the semis. And then, she just did the Sogi too. She took second. Like she beats like grown ass women who are like purple, brown, and black belts. It's crazy.
Right.
She's like a kid. It's like same thing with Tackett. I have Andrew Tackett on the card.
I was going to say, you brought William and Andrew,
Yeah,
right?
I bring William and Andrew's coming in too. Andrew just turned 16. He's going against Matt Divarovi. I think I said this name right. From, he's in Pennsylvania. He used to train at Tonin's spot before he moved.
Okay.
He trained with another Henzo guy now. I know his coach, Tony. I can't think of his last name, but he trains with him and what's his name's out there? Oh my God, Alex Neiman. He trains with Alex Neiman. Alex is like a local brown belt over there. He has a lot of like local titles in like Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, like the super fight cards and stuff. Like Alex Neiman. He has some good wins. So that should be a good match. Purple belt. It was hard matching Andrew because a couple of the upper belts I asked were like, I don't want to have a match with a 16-year-old. I said, okay,
Right.
I get that, fine. You know, but Matt was like, he goes, nah, bro, that kid's amazing. I'd love to have a match with him. And if he beats my ass, he beats my ass, but he's really good. I'd love to have a match
Right.
with someone that's good. I said, all right,
Great
for sure.
attitude to have.
Yeah, you know. I should pull the card up in front of me.
If only there was a way.
If only there was a way, technology, you know, and stuff. Who am I forgetting on this thing? Let's see here.
What do you know about your opponent, Javi?
Nothing. It's a complete and total mystery to me.
Seriously.
Emil Fisher is coming in.
He seems like an interesting fella.
I know Emil. He's taking on Chris Shigoli from 10th Planet Long Island that runs the Sogi tournament. that's going to be a lot of shenanigans there. Zach Edwards is taking on Sean Ashley. Zach is from 10th Planet Bethlehem. Zach's starting to get known as a leg lock guy, leg locker, and them share his stuff. He does the toe holds and 50-50.
Right.
Sean Ashley was, Sean wasn't really known up and that's the kid that knee-barred Frank Rosenthal. What kid? He's fucking older than me. I think he's like 35, but he knee-barred Frank Rosenthal at that Grappling Industries, that video that blew up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I had never heard of him before. And then I was like, oh, he's good. And I was thinking of like a leg lock guy for Zach that's like 170. And I was like, hey, man, you want to match with Zach? He goes, I know who you are and all that, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, I'd love it. So that should be good. I'm sure they're going to try to break each other's legs.
I don't think I actually realized. Wait, Rosenthal's like 170?
No, they did 155.
Oh, okay. Now that makes more sense to me.
Sean said he can make 55, but he said like I'm walking around like 65 and I'm lifting. I don't want to co-weight. I said Zach's walking around like 170. Doesn't want to co-weight. I said in fact Zach's doing finishers the week before at 185. So he goes, look, bro, I'm gonna eat pizza for a week and then I'll just stop eating the pizza. I'll be back down to 170. I said, all right, do you? Nick Ronan too. Ronan's doing the 170 tournament. He's doing the 185 finishers. I said, Nick, you're gonna make weight. He goes, bro, I can't maintain 85. Like, I'm gonna be eating everything, and then it's gonna come right the fuck off when I do the tournament. I said,
I'm kind of jealous.
Renee Souza's going against Freddie. I didn't write his. I know Freddie for years. I didn't write his last name down because on the card, it's like Freddie, Hispanic, last name that begins with an A. He's tough, man. Freddie looks like Rico Suave. If you youngsters know who that is.
Suave.
I mean, our listening audience isn't that young, really. So
Good stuff.
Everyone probably knows.
Renee is also at a 10th Planet Bethlehem. He teaches at Stingray's gym in New York. 10th Planet New York City. Yeah,
we were talking about that. That's got to be a hell of a drive.
Wednesdays. Yeah, I was like, it's a hell of a drive. He goes, but he teaches like 5 or 6 classes that day. So
right. So gets in early.
Yeah, Renee is more of he's more of like a wrestler. He likes the heavy passing and stuff like that. Freddie is just fucking dumb strong. Even for that weight, he's just fucking dumb strong. So I'm curious to see how that goes when they, do that. Who else is on this card? Cheryl Rock from Sarah's is going against Kat Ivy from where's Kat from? She's like under the SAS team. If you go online, the jiu-jitsu chick with the pet raccoon, their raccoon has like 20,000 Instagram followers. Rocket the raccoon. Like more than, and her boyfriend trains too. More than the two of them combined, you can go watch Rocket the raccoon. I said, are you bringing the raccoon to the event? People were like, how come you don't have more women's matches? I said, I've asked. When people ask me that, I'm like, do you want a match? Oh, I don't want to compete. All right, so then don't ask questions. That's why I don't have more women's matches, because it's hard to get them to compete. But Kat goes, I'll take a match. I said, sure. Cheryl wanted a match. CC wanted a match. So it was easy. I said, if women want matches, I'll match them up, but sometimes it's hard.
Right. You got room for any more women if they're looking, or
I think we have 13 super fights. We could probably squeeze one more in if I need. I might do what's her name? Hit me up. She just turned 13 too, and she goes, "Are you doing kids?" I said, "I'm not doing kids." She goes, "Well, technically, I'm a teen." Which is Sophia the dog. She competes in like Jersey and Philly a lot. Yeah. And I said, one of my former students, her dad just messaged me. She's also 13. But she's on vacation. She goes, "Oh, I'll let you know when I get back. I'll talk to my coach." I said, "Okay, let me know."
So this is all no-gi?
Yeah, well, that was the thing too. Is Emily used to train with us a lot. Like she was like 10 years old, like doing heel hooks and stuff. But now where she's training, because she stayed in Queens, they're mostly doing gi. And he was telling me even when they drill in the gi for no gi for class, they don't roll no gi. So he goes, I'm a little worried. I said, I really don't want to do a gi match. I said, I'm not crazy about doing a match with 2 13-year-olds. I'm going to have to modify the rules because I can't have them breaking each other's legs. I mean, I could, but it's probably not a good idea, right?
It's a bad look.
Well, it depends who's looking, right?
Generally speaking. Yeah, Eddie Bravo found that out.
Yes. Well, she tap, right? Stop the match.
Right.
But so I kind of want to do no-gi with that. Also, with the kids, they'll move. I'd be willing to make that exception only because the other one used to be my student. So, like Emily used to train with the adults. I used to let her come with the guys, the big 200-pound guy. She's a fucking 100-pound kid. She's a fucking asshole. Like she'd lock a triangle on you when you weren't expecting. They started violently ripping wrist locks.
Nice.
I like her already.
She has tapped quite a few adults in that room, and they're like, I guess we're doing that. I guess
so when you get
prison rules.
So when you get a new student, like you being a footlock heavy school, how soon do you start them in footlocks, and how do you train?
What are we doing that day? Whatever we're doing. Wait, one more match. One more. Oh no, 2 more matches. Sorry. My student Tim McNamara is going against Spencer Mume. Tim is Z Grapples on Instagram. Spencer is Sober Grappler and gets banned all the time from Instagram and Facebook. So 2 troublemakers. two similar looking white guys that cause problems on the internet from the South.
Yeah. Met Spencer down at Zapatero in Florida.
That was after he had his motorcycle accident. They needed a fucking tournament.
Yeah.
Psycho. And I got Marlon Suarez versus Victor Vaughn, I believe is his last name. Victor is Marlon played in the NFL. I forgot what team.
Yeah,
he was on.
you'd said that.
Big guy. He's done like the like the Masters no-gi pans, like because he's a no-gi guy. Victor went against Tex Johnson in the first round of the King of the Mat.
Okay.
That gorilla. He came to one of my seminars once in PA. Victor's literally a bigger Brock Lesnar. Victor is like 6'3", maybe 6'4", or 280. He does the strongman competition. Like you can see him like lifting the 500-pound Atlas balls up and down like they don't weigh anything.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like the heavyweight match. I'm like, all right, this is
that's the 8-minute match, right?
Yeah, I said they're gonna club at each other, and then eventually someone's gonna throw the other one, and that's when we'll be like, just jaws out of the water. Sorry. Oh yeah, and I do the 8-man. That's all the matches. Yes, that's all the matches. Jay Ragabudo is doing commentary. I wanted Raph to do it, but I couldn't afford to fly him out from California. Raph Esparza. I was trying to get Josh to do it. Josh, he does the Polaris commentary with the weirdo with the accent. He actually lives in New Jersey.
Really?
Yes. He was at the seminar we did at South Jersey. He's J Rag's student.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But he was like, dude, I'm already away 2 weekends doing stuff in November. If I take a third day off, my wife will kill me.
Right.
I said, so just get the will ready before the.
Right.
You know, I don't think he and Jay have ever done a card together, which is weird because those two are considered like two of, if not the two best guys for commentating on grappling. Mm-hmm. I can't think of two people better than the two of them, but I don't think they've ever actually
shared
together.
the mic.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Interesting. Yeah,
yeah, like Gordon Soley and Bobby Heenan. They've never. Sorry, but yeah, back to your question. I don't give a shit. I will. Oh look, someone just randomly sent me this GIF. Bro, what are we teaching that day? And that's what we're doing.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, people. I've had people come in on their first day, and guys are competing a week later. So we're doing heel hooks. Be like, all right, it's your first day. We're doing leg attacks. Look, they're going to do this move real slow to you. You're going to feel a little pressure in your knee. The second you feel pressure, just tap. Then you can try it with them and all that. And if they come with a friend, if there's 2 new people, I'll be like, okay, you new people that don't know what the fuck you're doing, you're gonna do something different. Let me show them this stuff. Let me show them the important stuff. Now let me show you some basic stuff you're probably not going to use in 6 months. This is an armbar from closed guard. Good luck, sir. Actually, I don't teach closed guard probably like the first 6 months of jiu-jitsu because one, if you don't know what you're doing, sticking someone in your closed guard is not going to help. But also, it's very hard. Mm-hmm. People like closed guard. It's a fundamental position. I'm like, they have to know what to do with their hands and their feet. They have to turn their hips out. They have to have head positioning. They have to make sure they're breaking the other person. There's a lot going on in closed guard. And if you have no clue what the fuck you're doing, you're not just going to hit these. Like, you're going to.
I decided to teach open guard with a bunch of white belts instead of closed guard. Yeah, I just thought it was. I started a little bit with closed guard, and then I'm like, I think this is going to be a lot easier. People move their hips way easier when they have their feet on hips, biceps, shoulders.
I show the first guard I always teach, like from bottom, is butterfly guard.
Right.
It's a Eddie Cummings thing. Eddie stole it from Marcelo. How often do you watch Marcelo get passed? Rarely. How often? Eddie. I think the last time Eddie got passed in competition was he was a purple belt against Wagner Roca, and it was like the end of the match. Right? He doesn't get passed because he has an amazing open guard. Yeah. Everyone always says that. They're like, yeah, when I rolled with Eddie, he kind of rolls like an asshole, and like he was like ripping shit left and right, but just can't pass his guard. Nothing works. So that's the most important skill.
Yeah,
I can be the best leg locker in the world. If you can pass my guard like breathing heavy, then my skill set is completely useless.
Yeah, retention's the most important, huh?
Yeah, students are always like, "Hey, man, can you show me some chokes from the back?" I said, "Whose fucking back are you taking, white belt?"
Yeah, right. Whose back are you taking?
You're attacking old ladies in the store. Whose back are you taking? Sit down and shut the fuck up. Do what I tell you. No, when I get new students, like totally new, side control top.
Yeah.
Because you understand it. You've seen wrestling or something at some point. You've watched, I don't know, a movie where they fight. You understand cross side. This position, like you understand why it's dominant. You may not understand why closed guard is good for you, right? The person on top can throw a headbutt. Agreed. So maybe it's not good for you.
Right.
But you understand why top side control is good for you, right? With mount, if you don't know what you're doing, I'll roll you off me every time, right? That's effortless. So with side control, though, you can kind of hug and armbar, Kimura, Americana, spinning armbar, piece of shit wrist lock. Like you can show them, hey, there's options to enter leg locks. There's options to gill. So you have a lot of options to kind of play with. And then the first question they always ask is, how do I get out of side control bottom? Because they get passed and someone just grinds them out.
Right.
You know, and you're like, oh, so side control is usually
Yeah.
They always ask, how do I get out of the back? I said, bro, you suck. Once a blue belt takes your back, you're fucked. So they don't get past.
Don't worry about it.
Don't get past and don't expose your back. Keep your back on the floor. If I try to show you ways to get out of the back, you're going to fuck it up anyway. Just keep your back on the floor. Get pinned.
What about you, Javi? How do you start students?
Kind of varies. It depends on what school I'm at on a given day.
Gi, no gi. See, I don't
yeah.
have that problem.
Yeah, now
We don't do any gi in my school.
Yeah.
Not a bit.
But,
Not a bit.
Not a bit.
But yeah, like for example, when I teach 10th Planet, you know, if it's heel hooks on the first day, you know, that's what it is. You know, this is ultimately no different than anything else you're going to learn. It's all equally dangerous starting off, and if I don't give you the proper instruction and the right kind of warnings and everything, you're going to get hurt just as easily on an arm bar or a Kimura as you are on a heel hook or a knee bar. You know, so yeah, I've never really considered them any different. You know, me coming up, I started with catch wrestling, and there was literally nothing held back there. So yeah, like I've never understood a lot of the tentativeness of teaching certain things. But again, if it's not my academy and I'm following some other instructor's program or something like that,
Just
then
following
obviously
orders, man.
Yeah,
Following
exactly,
orders, for sure.
exactly.
I don't like teaching Kimuras to white belts because they're all idiots and they break each other's shoulders.
Yeah, they
Right,
sure do.
yeah.
They
If you
like to rip
ask,
those.
if you ask Kit at Naga, or if you could find,
What do you see the most injuries?
yeah, if you could find Brian from Grappler's Quest, if he's not out in the woods somewhere hibernating, or Brian Simmons, because that's what he did. Like he just completely went off the grid. Though I asked both of them. I was like a blue belt, like 2010. I asked both of them. I said, "What's the most injury you see?" They go across the board, Kimura. It's always someone's shoulder gets like ripped out because people don't realize that they have this grip in that can really hurt someone.
Yeah.
You know, they don't realize it's in and then the shoulder breaks. He goes, with heel hooks, people tap super early because they're scared, or the other person knows they have something that's pretty bad and they don't go crazy with it.
I usually show Kimuras from standing for that reason, for like just from the jump. Plus, it's kind of, you know, with somebody brand new, is that the body lock, self-defense, grab from the back, Kimura, and then I'm like,
You guys don't have Poland Spring. All right, somebody find Anthony Zito.
Oh, because you want the
Poland Spring, ice,
green
mountain water.
the green water.
Yes, the good water from Maine, where Stephen King is from, and the clown.
I don't know that he's gonna be able to import that here to Chicago. It's kind of East Coast thing.
I try to get I try to start wrestling early on, especially because a lot of the guys want to fight MMA.
right.
So I try to instill, you need to learn how to take people down and control them and beat them up. This is what we're doing. It's tricky though in the beginning because people are clunky. They crush their feet. They blow their knees out doing things. Especially like using submissions from standing to do stuff like rolling kimuras and things like that. You see like weird elbows popping and bullshit.
Yeah.
It's very But if you don't do it early, then they never want to learn takedowns because they're like, well, fuck it, I don't want to do this bullshit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I had a kid, one of my kid students the other day, when I had him just doing stand-up, just takedowns, comes over to me and goes, can I just pull guard? And I'm like, no, you may not.
No, you may not pull guard.
You're going for a takedown.
You're going to pull guard when they whoop your ass in the bathroom?
That's right. That's what I told him. I said, hey, what are you going to do?
Would you pull guard in the streets? Did you really pull a would you pull guard in the streets moment?
I told him, I said, hey, if you ever have to use this stuff, I said, you're getting ready to go into high school. I go, stuff's going to get real for you, dude.
Yeah, I've for sure mentioned this before, so sorry to listeners, but like, greatest annoyance is when they ask me to teach them takedowns right before a tournament.
Oh, that's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, good. Let's learn something and master it in 4 days. That's fucking brilliant.
Right. It's like you signed up for this tournament like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago. I don't even know. You knew it was going to have to start standing because that's how they all start. Like, why are we talking now? Why is it suddenly now that you're interested in?
Because
I'd be like,
people
I'm not
are assholes.
they certainly can be.
They always do that. Can we do some takedowns the next 2 weeks? So let me ask you a question. If you knew you were going to go on a hot date, would you first learn what the doggy style is the day before?
I mean, some people do research, I guess. I don't know.
Plenty of research for hours and hours and hours. You don't know what's going on. My girlfriend asked, she goes, do you watch porn? I said, all day, every day. She goes, that was a quick answer. I said, why lie? I'm watching it right now. You just can't see it in my mind.
All right, so change the subject.
So this jiu-jitsu stuff.
Why are your pants off?
It's hot in here, man.
It is quite warm in here, but
It's raining and freezing outside. I love the Chicago weather.
yeah.
You live in New York. Come on, it's the same thing.
No, it's definitely different.
It's better.
Better. Oh, is that how we feel?
It's better. They get better water. This is
Better
fucking
water,
terrible.
better weather, better pizza. Is that what you're claiming here?
Significantly better pizza.
Fuck
You know who thinks Chicago pizza is better? People from Chicago. You know who thinks they have the best of everything? People in that area.
You know what I have waiting for
Clearly.
me at home is Detroit style pizza.
Detroit style. What,
Does it go bankrupt after like
No, it looks like this though. I tell you what.
That's
I'm,
where they-
I'm excited.
It's where like the cheese
looks
all
like
the way to
that.
the edge is burnt. Or yeah, it's like
What the
super
fuck
dark.
have you done to my Italian heritage?
Hey, my Italian wife bought it and she says it's pretty tasty.
Is she Northern Italian? Because that doesn't count.
She's from Rochester. She's from Rochester.
Oh my god.
I love going to her family's house because I am a giant compared to her uncles. I'm
They're all like 5'4".
Yeah.
Tony, come here.
But no
Hey,
matter how much
Tony.
fighting I know, I feel like I could never beat up her uncles with like bad knees and like they're old. I just still feel like they could whip my ass.
There's something about someone that is old that just doesn't die.
Yeah.
All right, no, but there's people where you're like, he's been shot and stabbed, 3 car accidents, he's alive. Well, fuck with him because clearly you can't kill him. You didn't
He's the
see that
Highlander.
movie?
That's the Highlander.
right.
No, like I was telling Kenny Rivera changing me. Kenny, he fought in Bellator at MSG. He hadn't fought in I think like 6 years. Kenny was doing construction. He was on like the 3rd floor on a scaffold, and the fucking machine hit the scaffold. He went off the scaffold head first into the concrete like this.
Jesus
And they're like, oh,
Christ.
he's dead. They're like, he's fucking, he
Gotta be.
blonde, like, he's fucking
Nope.
dead. Like he's not getting up. And they put him in the ambulance, whatever. There was like still a bit of pulse or something, and they're like, oh, okay, he's just gonna be paralyzed forever. And you know, a couple of months later, his fingers were moving, the hair,
Jesus.
and then they're like, all right, he won't be. He'll have a little bit of movement. They're like, but you're never gonna fight again. And then a couple years later, fighting in Bellator, I was like,
Some people are made of different things.
yeah, he's, you know, I because my girlfriend's spinal rehab, like she does that in concussions, and she was like, she goes, I told every other doctor in my field that there's this guy that happened to. He's fighting a Bellator in MSG, and like in a cage, like he in a wheelchair. No, he's not in the wheelchair. He's in the cage on his feet. This is insane.
In high school, I got in a scuffle with my buddy Skeeter, who was
Skeeter?
Skeeter, 100%. Skeeter's a
Doug.
good dude. Shout out to Skeeter, still a buddy of mine. Even after we had a fist fight in the locker room, he probably weighed about 230 in high school. I was about 180. He DDT'd me onto the locker room floor. Turns around, puts his arms up, thinking I'm going to be unconscious, and he turned around and found out I wasn't.
See if you had better takedowns back then.
I know I had zero, so I'm still working on them. But
That's weird. I didn't know Doug and Skeeter got into a fight in the bathroom.
Skeeter's a good dude.
All right. So, topic of conversation that we said we might discuss.
Oh wow.
What do we got?
How much trouble do you want to cause, Javi?
What are we doing? Are we
no,
going
no.
deep? What are we doing?
I still haven't had to lick alcohol. I can't even take this on the plane back with me.
That's true. You're gonna have to finish it
There's no way I'm training tomorrow at 9 a.m. if I finish
if you
this.
if you even
I'll
start.
like stumble in and I'll be like, all right, Bosco, come here, ask me a question about jiu-jitsu. No, don't do that. Who showed you that? That video sucks. It's not even in English. This is America. I know you're from Moldova. It doesn't matter.
Hey, you retained that much at least.
Yes, I retain.
So I got a Flow Grappling subscription that I look at occasionally, and
I have one. Maybe like once a month I use it.
yeah, look at things that are on there occasionally. And your good friend Eddie Cummings was on not that long ago.
See, I didn't know where this was going when you said flow, and I'm like, all right, this could enter.
This could go all kinds of
There's
directions.
all kinds of doors.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
what do you want to know about my friend Eddie?
So what's going on with him?
So Eddie is so funny. Like sometimes I'll text him for like a month, just random things, and he won't text me back. But I know he'll get it because Otavio will be like, "Oh yeah, he sees your text," or like, you know, like I was talking about something, and she'll be like, "Yes, Eddie told me blah blah." And then sometimes he'll like I had a picture with Freddie was on my show and this kid Yao. And I sent him a picture. He goes, "Oh man, how are those guys?" I said, "Blah blah blah." I texted him. I said, "Hey, I got this guy Italo from Unity. Have you trained him? Is he any good?" And like he goes, and he messaged me about that. Or like today, you know, I said, "Hey, I'm with Javi, and he's curious if Robert Diggle's related to you, because he kind of looks like you more and more every day." And Eddie texts me back like what,
right away.
like an hour at the most later.
Yeah.
And like Eddie never has his phone, you know. It is what it is. I was telling you in the car on the way here, though I've only ever had 2 real problems with Eddie. The first one was 2000, he was still at Henzo, so it would have been like 2016. A lot of people were using some of his stuff. Like he noticed he was watching matches and people were using some of the stuff that he wasn't teaching at seminars and showing people. And he was like upset about it. Ruben Alvarez specifically hit a move. I don't remember what the move was. And he was like, Matt's friends with him on Facebook. I think he's showing him. And because Kalstein told me this, I said, Eddie didn't say something like that. And then I was talking to Otavia. She's like, he's just cranky. Don't. And I was like really mad at him because I was like, bro, I've been your main training partner since I met you in 2012. I've known you 4.5 years. A lot of people have fucked you on money, stolen technique, all this shit. I've never asked Eddie questions. Like people come up to me, Eddie, what do you do from here? I'm always like, hey, bro, I've been playing with this. What do you think of these movements? Like I don't ask questions like that because it's just, to me, it's disrespectful because I'm not paying you and like we're friends, we train. But if he hits me with something like 4 times, I'd be like, all right, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. Why does this keep working?
Yeah, what is this bullshit? But he was convinced that he goes, Matt's friends with Ruben on Facebook, and he was convinced I was like messaging him and showing him stuff. I said, Eddie, I talk to Ruben like once in a blue moon, like, you know, just friendly every now and then. We'll comment on a thread, joking around with each other. I said, when he came up to Henzo's, he was like 200 pounds, and I was getting ready for something. I was like $140. I said, Ruben, look, I love to train with you, but no. No.
Right.
I said, you trained with him, and John trained with him, and I said, and Ruben's under Tom the Blast now. And when he comes up, Rob Constance, the Kasai commentator, he used to be known as Black Rob, but I guess he figured it's not as professional. So
isn't that still his Instagram handle?
I thought it was Rob _ Constance.
Okay,
but I know there was a time he changed it because you got to look professional, right? That's not. I get that, right? You're branding. I said, you know, Rob goes down there and hangs out with him. He comes up. I said, these guys who you train with, and know they train with him, and like he's under Tom, like he's gonna learn some leg lock stuff. And he just gave me like a weird look, and I was fucking pissed. And I didn't talk to him. Like he'd say, hey, you want to drill? I said, no. He looked at me. He goes, why? I said, no, fuck you. And this went on for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We were going to have, first it was going to be a kickboxing match, but they're like, it's not fair. Matt's going to kick Eddie in the legs over. Like I'm going to whip leg kicks because he can't box. I'm just going to keep whipping leg kicks until he falls down. I'm going to ruin his career. Fuck him, right? It'll be like Muhammad Ali and Inoki. Fuck him. But then it was like, we'll just do boxing. I said, sure, we'll do it in like, 5 weeks, whatever it was. Like he was trying to get a little boxing in with Shaheen Shaises and things like that. I said, I'm not even going to train for it. I said, I'm going to just roll, and then I'm going to come in and I'm just going to I'm going to play with him for a little bit. And and when he's not ready, I'm just like body shot the shit out of him with uppercuts. But it was a funny thing. And then I remember this went on though for like 2, 3, 4 weeks. And Tavi came up to me and she was like, Kaplan, you can't have the boxing match anymore because you're mad at him. You're really going to hurt him. I said, no, I was going to have fun, but like he really pissed me off. I'm going to try and like knock him unconscious. She goes, we can't do it. I was like, all right, just no. And he came in, I guess he realized the idiocy of what he was saying. And he came in one day and he was like, hey man, I guess I owe you an apology. I said, Eddie, if you ever accuse me of being a fucking traitor to you of all people, I will punch you in the fucking mouth and never speak to you again. Because that's fair. I said, because I've known you longer than all these guys. I could, despite what some people think, I have a New York State teaching license. I was going to post it online, but I was like, let me not get in trouble for numbers. I can, like, if I would have took the full-time job when I got my license in 2012, I'd be making like $100,000 a year right now because I'd be 8 years in. I said the reason why I sub there almost every day. I'm literally there every day, but then there's times where I'm like, look, I can't come in, and I'm like one of the only subs there that has a teaching license. Where I'm like, look, I can't come in for 2 weeks. Someone's got a fight coming up, whatever. I said, Eddie, I never took that job because I was still doing a little bit, but I was winding down because my body was really starting to hurt, and I just didn't give a shit about competing. But mostly my body was starting to hurt. I said, but you had a lot of shit coming up. So there was times where I needed to be in two, three times a day just to hang out with you and train with you for your Polaris match with Riley, your EBIs, your match with Danny Prokop. They weren't my matches, they were your matches, but I was losing out on thousands of dollars at work to help you, right? So if you ever accuse me of fucking you again, I'm just going to punch you in the face and we're not going to talk again. And then he apologized and we were fine for that for forever. And then when Kalstein went against Grippo, I was really mad at him. Because I knew he wasn't going to be there to corner John and Kasai. Tabia told me we're going to be in the Hamptons because they go to the Hamptons every August. I said, John, Eddie's not going to be there. No, he told me he's going to be there. I'm like, I'm telling you, they're going to be in the Hamptons. And Eddie's like, I'm going to get away. I'm going to get away from the Hamptons. I'm going to find a way to sneak away from the house. I said, Otavia, he's convinced he's going to sneak away from the house. She goes, on what? The magical bicycle? I'm like, I don't know, but And then the same day as that Kasai was at Grappling Industries, I'm cornering the lower belts, and John's like, Eddie's not here. He's not returning my text. He's not on what to do. I said, John, I'll take a cab over to the Hammerstein. Calm down. And I texted him. I said, I said, bro, like, not for nothing. Now the kid's freaking the fuck out because it's the biggest match. And his buddy who said he's going to be there and corner him, and all that, you're not fucking there. I said, it's a fucking asshole move, and I'm going to punch you when I see you. I'm legit going to punch you in the face when I see you. And I didn't see him. This is like August 2017, right? No, August 2018, because I had my gym. I didn't see him. He did the seminar. He thought I was going to go to the Unity seminar because Tiffany went, and I had the copy of the ticket. I posted it online, and Tavi goes, Kaplan, you didn't go? I thought you were going. I said, no, I'm just fucking with Eddie. But when he did the one where Mike Davila teaches in the Bronx, I went. I brought 2 of my students. And I don't think he thought I was actually going. I thought he thought I was just messing with him again. And she goes, hey, Tavi goes, we're running late. I said, no, I know I'm here. And everyone's waiting for him. And maybe she thought I still wouldn't. But he got out of the Uber. And I was standing by the bathroom, and I saw him from behind me, but he didn't know I could see him. And he came up and he put a rear naked choke on me, and he goes, now you can tell all your friends Eddie Cummings killed you. But I didn't sell it. Like, I didn't push his hands up. I just went like kind of limp. I turned around. He had that look of like confused. Like he didn't know what I was going to do. I said, give me a fucking hug, asshole. And I was like, because I was really mad at him that he no-showed John. But
right.
I also knew he wasn't going, and John should have been smart to know he wasn't going. But other than that, it is what it is. I knew Eddie was going to Unity. Eddie told me when I opened my gym in 2018, he goes, look, I'm leaving Henzo's. I'm going to Unity. Why don't we talk to them? You could be like a Unity affiliate in Brooklyn. I said, Eddie, I'm a black belt under Daisuke, who's a Henzo guy. I'm not a Henzo affiliate. Why would I be an affiliate of a gym I've never even been to? So
right.
The only name that's going to be on the wall of my gym is mine, unless it's spray painted. Then it can be somebody else's, okay? Because it's my gym, right? I don't know. Maybe Unity wants me to do gi classes, or I'm the fucking rules. I don't know. That's not my team. Like it's
right.
that. It's not my gym has nothing to do with anybody else but me and my students. So I'm not doing that. He goes, all right, but I knew he was going, and John didn't want to believe it. When he left, John was pissed, and one of my purple belts goes, John, that guy's been telling you for 7 months he's leaving. What, you thought it was a joke every day? You know what I mean? So I knew he was going.
Right.
He's like, you guys should come train with us. And like a lot of people were mad. And I was like, why are you mad at Eddie? Like, he's going to do what he thinks is best for him. It's a team sport, but where were all of you? How many of you were posting online that Eddie was still training at Henzo's when he wasn't for 2.5 years, and everybody was so scared of saying things? And so why would he have your back when you guys who were his friends and his training, like all of you, just kind of was like, well, I don't want to get involved. That's not me. And I said that to him. I said, Eddie, just when I was trying to get someone for Keith, I texted him. I said, can you take this match with Keith? I need someone. And he goes, bro. I said, I've never asked you for a favor in the fucking 7.5 years. I've never asked you for anything. Literally never asked you for anything. This would help me out immensely because I didn't have a match. I didn't have the day. I said, I need help. And he goes, if you ask me any other favor, I will do it for you. No problem. But don't ask me to do anything in jiu-jitsu. I don't want anything to do with jiu-jitsu. Because I'm not competing for anyone for any amount of money. One company offered him like $50,000 for a super fight with someone that they really wanted a match. And he was like, I'm not doing it. Whatever rules he's
just burn out.
I don't know what the company was and who the opponent was.
I'm saying, is he just burnt out?
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's beyond burnt out. Forget burnt out. Like, because everyone's like, oh, well, he should just. I'm like, first of all, Eddie's 35. He's a fucking grown ass man. So when, like, as Javi will tell you, when you're a grown ass man, you don't need fucking 20-year-olds talking to you like you're a jerk off. Like, you don't. Like, it doesn't matter whether they're better at jiu-jitsu or not. You're a fucking 20-year-old kid. Talk to me like a fucking adult, or I'm not going to listen to you. Like, I don't give a fuck what you have to say. Like, if you're going to act like that, and Eddie doesn't have that sense of humor where, like, if you I fuck with him, but I don't, like, really fuck with him because I know, like, there's certain things that upset him and annoy him, but I know there's some things where he'll be like, seriously? Like, there's that line. And I know him better than other people, so whatever, fuck him. But like, you're not, like, if you don't know him like that and you're just being a dick to be a dick, like, he's not going to respond to that. He's just not. He's a grown-ass man. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like people. He hates interacting with people. Like, if you're a fan of his, you walk up to him, he'll talk to you and things like that, but he's very socially awkward. He doesn't like doing that stuff. Mm-hmm. He likes the idea of podcasts. He's like, oh, I can talk about jiu-jitsu, but he hates the idea of podcasts. He's like, oh, I got to talk to people. Like, he just wants to do his thing and go home. Mm-hmm. And that's what he does at Unity. I heard he's training like 1-2 days a week, like at most. Right. He's in school. He's doing his fucking degree and stuff. And, He's got Otavia's kid. I think Ariane's 11, 12 now.
Yeah, got to be by now.
She's in 8th grade. Yeah, I want to say she's in 8th grade. 8th grade, like something like that. I know she's out of elementary school. So he helps her the homework and he does that stuff and he's gonna get a job and all that. He just doesn't care about jiu-jitsu. And it's hard for people who live in the bubble. They're like, how could you not care about jiu-jitsu? I'm like, 99% of the world doesn't care about fucking jiu-jitsu. And there are people that care about jiu-jitsu that don't care about jiu-jitsu the way you care about jiu-jitsu. So even people that care about jiu-jitsu are like, okay, but I'm not training today. I'm going to work. So, it's so people like in the bubble just don't. But he's so good. I'm like, he doesn't care. Like, and I said that to him. He goes, I don't want to compete anymore. I was surprised he did those fight to wins. He's like, I don't want to compete anymore. And I said, Eddie, I stopped competing in 2000. My last match was supposed to be me and Zach in 2015 December. I said, I'm done with this fucking shit. I don't
Zach from Bethlehem?
Yeah, Maslany. Yeah. I said, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm done with this, right? And then I did that one other good fight. It was like June or July 2016. I got John the match with Sean Applegate. He goes, you got to come with me, please, please. I was like, bro, I just broke up with my girlfriend. Technically, I'm homeless. Who the fuck knows what she's going to do with my shit? Like, I may be gone this next 4 days. I may come home. She may burn all my fucking video. I got like fucking thousands and thousands of dollars worth of video games. She may burn my shit. Like, I have so many other things I'm worried about. I told you I don't want to compete anymore. He's like, please, you got to come with me. So I fucking went with him. So if we include that one, I haven't competed in 3.5 years. If we talk about when I didn't want to, it's 4 years. I said, Eddie, I understand what you're saying. Because I did pro wrestling for a while, and then when I didn't give a fuck, I didn't fucking do it anymore.
Right.
And then I did music for a while, and then when I didn't give a fuck, I didn't do it anymore. And I said, I competed in MMA, I competed in Nogi, and then when I didn't give a fuck, I didn't do it anymore. I said, if you don't want to do it anymore, that's fine. I understand that. I said, these guys that are like in their 20s, they don't understand that. I said, but I understand that. You're doing it for a while, you're burnt out, your body hurts, you're injured, you don't care. And if you just don't care, then you definitely shouldn't do it. The worst thing you can do is compete when you don't care, because that's how you get hurt.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's other stuff too. Like, I don't know why he doesn't talk about his concussions, but he doesn't.
Concussions from what?
So this was the big fight. There were many big fights in that blue basement between Eddie and his former coach. The two that I always think of when I think of where Eddie went, I don't want to do this anymore at this gym. Specifically when he stopped working with John, because he was still teaching on Saturdays. He was helping Henzo teach. We stopped working with John. The first one was the cut at EBI with EBI 10. I said, Eddie, I make 135. I'm a lot smaller than you. You're not going to make 35. Same day, get the fuck out of here. But Danaher was adamant. You'll make weight. You'll do all these things. He got real sick making the cut. He got down to like 40, 41. In the last couple of days, he was eating nothing but bacon because it was enough calories, but didn't weigh anything. And they were in Mexico. They all got food poisoning. Gary, Eddie, Danaher, Otavia, because the food they cook down there is still in the water.
Right,
Even if you don't drink if you're drinking bottled water, they cook them. They all got sick. Like 10 people on EBI had food poisoning. Like all the Americans got like sick. It was a whole thing, and he still almost didn't make weight, and he felt terrible. You could see it in the first matches. Like the first 3 matches, he won them, and he still looked off. And so. He used to like have this thing where like he used to be like Gordon, where everything John says is God's lips, from God's lips, everything he says. And I said, yeah, I didn't really know. The first time I met Danaher was, I met him once or twice, maybe 2012. I did 2 classes before an MMA fight because Daisuke was like, you should go. But I really met him that January 2015 when the DDS thing started. It was me, Eddie, and Gary was supposed to go, but Gary's car broke down, so it was just me and Eddie. And I had to roll with him for 40 minutes because we were the only ones doing no-gi in the gi class. And I don't know if you've ever rolled with Eddie. Rolling with Eddie for 40 minutes is fucking horrible. Like horrible, beyond horrible. And then like John came like the next day. Gary's car was fixed, the whole thing. But that was really the first time I ever met Danaher. So I said, I don't know him. I said, if you tell me the guy knows his shit, blah, blah, blah. I said, I know you, so I trust you if you tell me. So, like, you know, it was that adjacent friend thing, you know? But then, like, you know, a year and a half later, there was, like, that weirdness. And then with the weight cut thing, he, I don't know, like, he goes, you know, I don't have, like, the same trust I had in him. He was horribly wrong about the weight cut. I said, Eddie, but you should have known that. Like, you thought you were going to die. You literally thought you were going to die, and you had 6 more pounds to go. So I don't know how. That was it. And then the concussions was a thing. Eddie doesn't sleep. Well, he wasn't sleeping much. I don't think he was still living with his ex-wife then. I could be wrong. I don't remember when he got divorced from his 3rd wife, who was also his 1st wife. He is the Grover Cleveland of jiu-jitsu. Yeah, well, Didn't work right the first time. Let's try it again. But I don't remember. I know when he was living towards the end of that relationship. No, that was the end of. I want to say that was the end of 2014, early 2015. But I remember the end of that relationship. He wasn't sleeping much. He was because he's a paranoid guy. He was like just not sleeping much while at home, and there's a lot going on. And then it was becoming a thing where, even when he was full time, he wasn't working at all anymore. He wasn't doing anything. He was just doing jiu-jitsu. He was getting like 3 hours of sleep. And then he'd be up. He'd train a little bit. He'd train, and he would just sit up all night. And just watch tape and do things. And he wasn't sleeping. And then he started getting like headaches and things like that. So they took him to the doctor, and he told on him. He goes, I have concussions. He's like, Eddie, you're not an MMA fighter. You can't get fucking concussions. And they're like, no, Otavio made me go. And they did the MRI of the brain or CAT scans, whatever it was. And he goes, the doctor asked me, hey man, do you play football? He's like, no. Do you get hit in the head often? He's like, I don't think so. He goes, well, you have concussion, swelling of the brain and all this other shit. And it's just that, like, you're training, and that it's a big gym, but there's a lot of people. Right. And especially the morning classes there are more jam packed. When we would go in the afternoon, and it was like an exclusive thing.
Right. Invite only.
There was like 8 of us doing nogi in a corner. It started out with like 3 of us. Then it was like 6 of us. Then it was like 8 of us in a little corner. And then it was like anyone that wanted to do no-gi could just take the gi off, so that it was crowded. But the morning classes specifically were really overcrowded. I never went to those. I didn't do the 8 a.m. classes because I was at work usually. Mm-hmm. Or if I didn't have work, I didn't know I didn't have work until like 8 o'clock, so it was too late to make the class. Right. But those classes were packed with a lot of people. Every now and then, the person next to you rolls out of something and kicks you in the head in the next group. Or somebody shoots a single leg and pulls the guy down. They're fucking and Eddie just has that luck where he was getting hit in the head a lot. Like, I've seen people fall on his head, and you don't think anything of it when it happens. And the second time, the third time, and now you get some headaches, you're not sleeping. And like they went and did that. And I remember he was training more with me and John in Queens. And when we would train, like my students, I'd have them like on the other side of the mat. I'm like, if you're working wrestling, stay the fuck away from Eddie. When you're rolling with him, just don't be spaz. You don't hit him in the head, like, because he's dealing with some shit right now. And then you watch his last match at Fight to Win with that guy Wolk. Smacked Eddie in the head. He was doing the fake punches and all the bullshit, and he's just hitting him in the head. And after that match, he was like, why am I doing this fucking bullshit? For what? Right? The money's not, he doesn't need the money. His girlfriend's rich. He doesn't need the money. He lives with her. He doesn't need the money. The match sucked. The guy spent the whole match running away and hitting him in the head. Like that, no one's going to be like, I don't watch that again. Like, that match sucked. Right. So so it's not entertaining. The guy's not famous. Like, Eddie was more famous than him. It wasn't like he went out and had a match with Bruno Frazato or someone famous. So it was like lose, lose, lose. And his head, I was texting the time afterwards. She goes, I said, is he okay? She's like, he's a headache. I said, well, I don't know why he took that match with a guy that's known to just do dumb shit. So, like, why? Why make it worse? You know what I mean? And then if it gets really bad, like real serious CTE, now what?
Right. What's the recourse there?
Right. It's people don't realize that. Like, that's why I don't spar that much anymore. Because I was starting to get headaches, man. So, like, I sparred the other day with some of my guys because got
an MMA fight coming up.
Maybe like January. So, like, one of them's starting to get back into it. He's an amateur. The other one's pro, starting to get back into it. And I did a little bit of MMA, like, little gloves going light, and then we did some kickboxing sparring. I did like 1 or 2 rounds of one, and then like 1 round of the other, and then I was like, I'm good. Got hit a little bit. My head's not bothering me because I get headaches sometimes. I'm like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Like, even with the headgear, I'm like, why am I, for what? I'm not going to the UFC, so what the fuck am I going to get headaches for?
Right.
I get headaches all the time.
Really?
All the time. Yeah, I've gotten migraines since I was a little kid, so then I joined football, which was a brilliant idea.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a wonderful
combination. And then I did MMA before I had any talent, which was another brilliant idea. And then I really liked sparring, so I had a lot of gym wars, so that was a great idea too.
Yeah, and once you get those headaches, they don't go away.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
There's random days I'm just sitting, I'm like, oh,
yep.
God.
Yeah. Today I've already downed like 3 or 4 Excedrin migraine.
Jesus, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fuck with that. I can't with the pain pills.
Yeah, I don't. That's the only thing I take is Excedrin migraine. The only thing. I don't.
Does
even
it
mess with
become less
Advil.
effective the more you take them?
Not Excedrin migraine. Again, it's I try not to take it hardly ever. Like, I got to be like, if I don't take this, I'm not going to work today, and that's not. I try to be the opposite of what you were talking about. I like to be at minimum. I may not be the best at anything, but I'm going to show up all the time.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things.
Show up and show you care, right?
Wrestlers get it. Wrestlers and judo guys get the CTE, the headaches a little bit more.
Oh, for sure.
But Well, jiu-jitsu people are poor anyway, so it's not like there's like if you wrestle on a team, there's a fucking team doctor. They do these tests. Who's going around the jiu-jitsu gym going, all right, buddy, let's do a CAT scan of your brain?
No way.
They don't. And you're going to see it's going to become more and more of a thing where people are realizing, even in the gentle art, all it takes is one. I'm trying to pass your guard. You posted to me. The guy next to you steps on your fucking. That almost happened today. Me and Javi were warming up for finishers. The guy next to him stepped back. I pulled Javi. I said, well, that could have been an early day.
Teaching high leg, recompose guard, thunk. Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
That, bro, all that. Kenny was shooting the other day, and Jerry sprawled, kind of funny. Oh no, Jerry thought he was throwing a leg kick, so he picked his leg up, beat Kenny in the head.
Ah, jeez, yeah, that's the worst.
Jerry's 185. Kenny's $160. Like, he hit him in the lip though. He hit him in the jaw, so it was all right. But if he cracked him in the middle of the head, like, you're like, all right, well, we're done for today. You know, like people don't realize how. That's why I like the headgear sparring with the big gloves. Like people like it's so much safer. I'm like, but it's not. Even in boxing now, they want to take the headgear out of amateur.
Yeah,
fighting.
take it out for sure.
Because these guys are getting hurt, but they don't know they're getting hurt. Which is really because this was me and Tony got into this argument once, and I said, dude, I like sparring with little gloves because it's different. The combos are different, the way you block is different, the spacing, everything's different. Just go light. I said when guys put on the big gloves, even with the headgear,
they go nuts.
Yeah, and you can't. It's hard to knock somebody out with headgear, but you can still fucking swing for the fences, and the lights are fucking off and stumbling. You see guys, the eyes like roll back.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's just yeah. And you know now we're studying it more with football. They can't even bang helmets anymore and stuff.
Yeah. Take the helmets out in football.
No, that's it.
Rugby. I mean,
yeah, but
rugby still got the.
But the rugby still got. Oh yeah.
Rugby has different rules. Like with the football, someone's going to eat a knee to the head. 100%. When they dive on the balls, someone's going to eat a knee to the head.
I still think we should get weapons in football. I'm ready to
like stun guns and tasers and
whatever. Just make it more interesting.
You can't put baseball bats in football. They have to be football bats, right?
Football bats.
No, like you're going to hyper like basketball.
I think we should go back to less rules in football. Like right now, they're protecting the quarterback a lot. Did you ever hear of an old offensive lineman by the name of Conrad Dobler, who they had to make rules because he was known for leg whipping? Like he would just. Like Mortal Kombat style, guys would try to blow past him on the line, and he would just hand on the ground, spin, and leg whip people. Oh, it's great! Look it up, Conrad
blow
Dobler.
People's fucking knees out.
He can't walk right now. To this day, he can't walk very well. If he's alive, I'm not sure.
Well, you know, rule changing. I was thinking Eddie made this joke once, but I think this is actually a good idea to help incite people to win. Forget like win bonuses with money. You put each athlete's current girlfriend on the side of the stage.
I'm in.
And the winner gets to get rid of his.
Not where I thought it was going.
The water's going down.
I thought he was going to get the other girl's girl and his.
He goes, I'll put my wife in a cage, whatever it is, and I'll just throw the fucking thing. Who wants it? I was like, Eddie, this is not healthy behavior. Like, you're not joking. You're being very serious, right? This is not healthy behavior.
He's talking to two guys that actually like their wives.
Yeah. I don't endorse this one. Dude.
No,
Don't worry.
I saw that picture you made Karen post the other day.
So okay, she posts that, and I look at her and I go, honey, somebody is going to comment on this that like I stole your phone or that I yeah.
And then you made her hold up a sign saying that you didn't.
Well, hold on. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll take care of that. So she goes in, she handwrites this sign, and you know she's being all cutesy and everything. And sure enough, who's the first person to fucking comment?
I said, damn, she must have did something bad just to put these photos online. Terrible.
How'd you like the me going out of the way to on my little trip to Denver? I went out of my way to make an inside joke. I'm like the ultimate inside joke here with Javi
that
and
food
the
looked
food.
good.
It was. I tell you what, that was some good fast food.
What was it called again? Freddy's or something?
Freddy's. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
They're outside of Denver. It was I was like, I wanted some place that I couldn't get here. I was riding around on my buddy on Costa's. Costa's like, hey man, just ride around my neighborhood on this bike in Denver, and I'm like, okay. I get on this bike and I'm like, this fucking thing, the gears weren't working right. I couldn't pedal. The brakes were screwed up. I get back and I barely survived this bike ride. By the time I get back to his house, the fender on the back has fallen off. Like his neighbor is looking at me like this guy had to steal his bike because the fender is dragging on the ground. And I'm like, yeah, I survived that bike ride around your neighborhood. And he's like, yeah, I bought that thing for $10. I'm like, thanks, dude. Thanks for caring.
He was thinking of you. He was only thinking of you, man.
I just want to make sure you had a good time and maybe die.
Good stuff. Yeah. Death. Maybe we can do that for grappling. They start on the bikes and they jump off.
Just charge towards
bikes
each
on
other.
a pole match, right? You got to like throw the guy to get to the bicycle. See, you can do one gimmick match.
Right.
Just one gimmick match.
You could actually do multiple gimmick matches so long as they're different gimmicks, right?
Well, yeah,
Like,
I remember I was putting the show together and someone was like, what rules do you want to do? I said, well, technically every match can be different rules. And they're like, what do you mean you can't do that? It'd be confusing. I said, why? Way more people watch professional wrestling than grappling, and every match in pro wrestling has different rules. Singles match, tag match, ladder match, tables match, casket match, barbed wire match. They're all different rules. Lucha Libre. So it's 6-man tag, Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, battle. All these matches have different rules. You just kind of pick it up as you go along, and it's not like there's 100 different rules. Just
Right,
one will
you
be,
figure it out.
Points, no heel hooks. Points with heel hooks. No time limit. Like, it's not like you're doing, you know what I mean? It's not like you're reinventing the wheel every match.
Right. It would definitely confuse some people, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. Especially if it's all super fights, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Shidokan's rules back in the day. Do you remember
Well,
that?
there's three different sets of rules.
Yeah, it was what
Yeah.
it started
But it was
off
consistently.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I've seen that, and they do that sometimes in Japan, where it's like the first round is kickboxing, then it's like grappling, then full MMA.
Bare knuckle
or-
karate. And
Yeah,
then
Shidokan was bare knuckle karate.
Bare knuckle karate, which meant no head, bare knuckle were no strikes to the face, but you could kick to the head, which was awesome.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Kyokushin.
Then they put the gloves on and you could kickbox. And then it was
kickboxing.
MMA, where I think there was no striking on the ground, right? And that's what it was, where it was, if you hit the ground, it was only grappling.
Pancrase
Something
used
like
to
that.
only allow strikes to the body.
Yeah.
So I don't think there were. Shuto had strikes to the head. I think the first Shuto was like 86, 87. People know about like way before the UFC. It was like 86, 87. Pancrase didn't have strikes to the head, I want to say, until like 94. It was
On
like
the ground, but they had-
Yeah, on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't close fist the head though. On
Right.
the
You
feet.
had a slap or palm heel.
I don't know. I kind of like that rule of no striking on the ground. I know it's not MMA anymore, but but then I want to see. I want to see more grappling.
So now you want me to watch a jiu-jitsu guy run and jump guard against a
that's a good
kickboxer,
point.
and now
That's a good
it's
point.
fucking
I don't know,
garbage.
maybe.
So you want to watch the reverse combat jiu-jitsu, striking only on the feet.
All right, I guess.
So combat kickboxing is.
You haven't figured it out, Matt. I don't think things all the way through. I just throw things out there.
Well, but that's the problem. All these rule sets, all these shows is like sometimes on paper you're like this can be good, and then you find the one guy that just ruins it, and that's it. And every match after that is fucking wasted. You know, it's like the first person that was like, "Oh wait, if I push the foot over the hip, I'll win by reap."
Got it.
They eventually revised that rule. Now, if you do that, the person pushing the foot gets the DQ instead.
It took 6 years.
I don't remember how long it took. I think it's been 2 years that way now.
But I was saying it took like 6
Right,
years.
it took a
7,
while.
whatever it was. Yeah.
Did it take until a Brazilian lost for it to happen?
Man, I don't
You
even-
already know that.
you already know, man.
questions.
Why are you asking things you know the answer?
I don't have the documents to back that up.
I don't have the photographs to back that up. Actually, there's a picture. I know the guy that was in it. Someone's foot reaped, and he's pointing to the reap, and his hands up like this as the ref walks over, and that made like the Gracie mag. I said, "Bro, like you're on the cover like that." He goes, fuck it, I won." And I said, "Nah, look, I get what you're saying, but like
Right.
there's
rules are the
photos.
rules.
You know, like, I get what you're saying, but there's photos now. That's not good. Fucking hell, bro.
Is there anything else? Or are we good?
I think we should probably start wrapping this up.
God, how long did that go?
I don't really know. I just started talking.
It's about 2 hours.
Actually, we barely talked. We just let you go.
Yeah, no kidding. That's why. That's
And
why
we didn't even see, and I behaved. I didn't,
You relatively behaved.
I behaved. There's so many things I could say that I didn't. And I was like, I don't know where this is gonna go.
All right, favorite pro wrestlers of all time.
Ooh.
Company in years.
I don't care. Just
Nah, you
just
can't.
go.
It's too many. You
Too
can't.
many?
It's like
Too many.
Who's your favorite porn stars?
All right.
Ethnic background. Like, I don't know. Like,
All right, here we go. Here we go. Can we just make it a decade period?
You're gonna say the '90s, and
All right,
again,
all right. No,
company.
I'm gonna go 80s. Let's go 80s NWA.
NWA. 80s NWA. Let's see. Dusty. Midnight.
That's the working man. That's the working man.
I guess the Road Warriors, right? I mean, because the Four Horsemen, but like the Road Warriors.
I thought you were going Horseman immediately.
I mean, like because they were but they were like only 2 years NWA.
I
Was
don't
it
remember how long it was.
87,
It
89
was
because they
later-
left to
yeah, it was later
WWF?
period.
No, 87, 88 because they were right. You know, it was 87 to end of '88 because they were in the WWF by '89. Tully and Arn. It was only like that. That run was only like 2 years. The Road Warriors were fun because they weren't exposed yet like they were in WWF. The Midnight Express could work on anybody and look good, and I mean Dusty was the over baby face, and eventually he did get oversaturized. Terry Funk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Terry Funk.
I keep thinking about reading his autobiography, and I just have you read it yet? Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I bet you it's gotta
I've
be
seen.
amazing.
I mean,
it's
like,
gotta be.
if he wrote it recently,
You don't know?
who even knows what he's
who
saying
knows,
anymore.
right?
He's not.
It can't be good.
Not well.
Can't take.
No,
those-
man, I saw him live in 2007. It was so when they did the Hardcore Homecoming, it was him and it was Terry Funk and Sabu versus the Dudleys live, and they fucking tables and fire.
Jesus Christ.
Sabu took most of the bump, but Funk was still taking bumps, and he was I don't know, almost right. He was 50. He was 53 in 97, so he was like 65-ish then.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
wasn't
still taking
moving
those-
well back then.
No, he was
Yeah.
walking like a almost like a statue with like limping, and then he would go through a table, and you're like, God.
Did you watch those documentaries on Vice? The what were they called?
Oh,
Tales from the Ring?
yeah. Jim
Those were
Cornette,
good.
yeah, Jim
Those are good.
Cornette,
those are
yeah.
good.
What's Viceland did it?
Yeah, Tales from the Ring. I think.
Tales from the Ring, yes.
They were good.
Yes,
Solid.
yes.
Check them out.
I mean, yeah, Tales from the Ring was good. Most of them, Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. Thank you.
Dark Side of the Ring. I mean, most of those I knew. Like, I didn't know because
Right.
the new stuff with Gino Hernandez.
Yeah,
from
I didn't know the
Texas.
Gino Hernandez story. I didn't.
Yeah,
know,
well,
never
and the
heard
new
of
stuff
him.
at the end, they just found the guy. But like it's like the Montreal stuff, that's all.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
that's
I
been
knew that.
done. To
Yeah,
death
it's
so
been
much.
done to
And
death.
people don't realize it wasn't WWE
Yeah.
TV. It was the different 80s. I mean, 80s wrestling is weird though. It's like because you go back and watch it now. A lot of it doesn't hold up at all.
No.
No, some of the NWA stuff, but especially the WWF stuff does not. Hold
I started. I just every once in a while I'll throw on some old match. You can never go wrong with a Greg Valentine Ricky Steamboat match. Those are always
That's a good run.
insane.
Yeah, was it Valentine and Piper the first Starcade?
Oh,
when he
yeah,
broke his
Valentine and
eardrum,
Piper
he's
broke his
bleeding from
eardrum.
his ear.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I was always more of an ECW fan.
Oh yeah, ECW was fun. I remember when guys were talking about that, and they're like, when I was into pro wrestling, and they're like, you gotta watch ECW, and I'm like, what is that? They're
It's
like,
on MSG at like midnight on Friday. But we gotta get up. Come on.
well, I was living in
Midnight on
Ohio,
Saturday.
and didn't have access to the interwebs as an old man.
It was on MSG on Saturday and the Sunshine Network.
I had to get a guy with VHS tapes. It was all like shady stuff.
Yeah, I remember the tape swapping days.
Oh yeah, tape
Yeah,
swapping.
I have all the RF videos, the DVDs of all the commercial shows, and then I had VHS tapes of like just the matches. But you throw out the VHS tapes because you wind up getting them on other stuff.
Yeah, I saw my first ever ECW show. God, it must have been like 1997-ish, I want to say, at the Odeum, which is where Fight to Win's at tonight, by the way.
The Odeum,
Yeah, Villa Park.
That's
It was
hilarious.
a Halloween show, I think.
If
the
it
first
was October, it was you're thinking of 99 Anarchy Rules.
Was it
that
nine- okay.
That was their biggest crowd was the Odeum in Chicago at that was the Anarchy Rules 99.
one. Okay, yeah, it must have been later then.
Yeah.
Or that, I think I
because
went
they
to...
didn't run Chicago in 97 because they didn't get on pay-per-view till 97.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of interviews with the old pro wrestlers and stuff, and a lot, whenever they get asked where their favorite places to perform, they say the Rosemont Horizon was one. It's all across the board. They mention that.
Chicago is like for pro wrestling. Chicago's always been the AWA was here, the NWA was here. It's just the one spot where all the companies could run.
Right,
New
right.
York was mostly WWF. At Georgia and those areas mostly NWA. So, but this was like that middle. I was telling Javi, I said, when I was like, I was fighting with Calstein about something once, and I said, John, Kevin Nash had a great saying. There's only two things that are real in this business. He said, I learned it from Lou Albano. It's the money and the miles. Because what does that mean? I said, when you're done with this shit, the only thing you will have left is the money that you've saved and the miles on your broken fucking body. Because everything else, like, don't train for 6 months. Let me know which one of those guys calls you to see how you're doing. Right? Ask them to borrow money. Let me know how much they get. Like,
Right,
give me
right.
a fucking break.
Absolutely.
Like that's why you watch like grappling isn't that much different from pro wrestling in those aspects. Right. It's the same. That New Jack has that quote. What's his name? From the guy that runs Triton MMA, Chris was like, he goes, I'm not a promoter like that. I'm like, yeah, but Chris, it's the truth, right? He's like the wrestling ain't nothing but street. The the workers are the hoes, the promoters are the pimps, and the ring is the track. And when you break your body down for these motherfuckers, and when you can't do it no more, they bring in a new hoe. Because that's what wrestling is. He goes, you come in, you do your shit, and when you can't fucking sell no more tickets, and you can't take bumps, and you can't have matches, we find somebody else in your weight class.
Do you still watch pro wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the product now?
It's pretty terrible. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I like NWA Power.
Yeah.
That's free on YouTube if you go on.
Is it?
Yeah, they're up to their. I think they did 3 episodes. Cornette does the commentary for
nice.
it. Cole Cabana from Chicago.
Yeah.
He's on it. Mr. Anderson, Mr. Kennedy. There's like some people, and there's like NWA names, which is good. AEW is very hit and miss for me. There's too many dives. Like, how many times am I going to watch somebody dive over the fucking ropes?
No kidding, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, if there's 50 dives a match and every match has 50 dives, like, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you were watching a porno and just every 10 seconds someone's shooting a load on someone's face, you're like, all right, what is this? That's literally, that's how I explained it. That's how I explained it to one of my friends. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, the dive is like a big buildup. The guy jumps over the top rope and then you're like, oh my God, like that's like the finish of a porn. And now it's just like, like, what am I watching? Like, I'm just watching tons of finishes.
There's a market for that.
No, it'd be like, imagine if you made a highlight video of heel hooks, right? So I'll take it back. I'll take a highlight video of heel hooks, but it's just the breaks. You know, it's like, after like the 7th time, you're like, all right, I get it. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. It's exactly it's exactly what that is.
That makes sense. It makes sense.
Because it just desensitizes you to it. You're like, okay, he jumped off the ceiling. Okay, how many times am I going to watch that?
You know, if none of the porn analogies would have worked, it wouldn't have been as charming. But since every single one of them were like, he nailed it. He nailed it.
Accurate.
Very accurate. All right.
That's what, like when I teach, I do that. Like
Porn references?
all the time. What is it? Someone was doing something. They're like going for Kimura or whatever it was, and they did everything right, and then they fucked up the ending and they gave their backup. I said, you know what you did? You went to the bar, and she goes, oh, you're cute, I like you, and she went home with you. And she got naked and said, I'd like to have sex with you. And you said, cool, let me show you my Nazi memorabilia. And then she got turned to the left. And that's what you just did. You just fucked it all up. It's your bullshit.
All right. And
On that note.
So we're running a professional grappling grapplingidiots.com on Instagram, grappling_idiots, Facebook.
Apropos name, huh?
Feel free to follow me, Matt Kaplan. I post things at the time.
You're going to be the first person to lose followers after being on this podcast.
Or he's going to get the worst kind of followers.
Or more
Jiu-jitsu
followers.
people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, jiu-jitsu people.
Is this definitely the most porn references in a grappling union?
I try not to count them.
It's so weird. People are so weird with. I'm like, it's a thing. Like, it's just a thing. It's a thing adults do that they don't tell their wives about. You know, I was in one.
You were in a porno?
We gotta go though.
All right, bonus content available later. All right, guys. Bye.
It's been fun.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. For more information about Grappler Union Podcast, you could visit us at our website at grapplerunion.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Grappler Union. Please like us on Facebook. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. And all of our episodes are available on our YouTube channel. Say what? Be sure to subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to all that shit. You got to do another take, right? Oh.